One Piece: The Legend of Creation, Chapter 401-420. 401 Beheading. Boy, you are too sharp. If you can't overwhelm the enemy in an instant with your constant attacks, your flaws will be revealed. Pressing everywhere is your weakness. Go to hell, Diamond Light. Kuchimu Kangchun immediately rushed to Lu Changkong, and the speed was the fastest in an instant. In the blink of an eye, Xena came to about 10 meters in front of Lu Changkong. The diamond star in his hand swiped towards Lu Changkong, and the tip of the knife actually shot a diamond-like arrow. Light, but this light contains extremely amazing penetrating power. Are you really exhausted? Aizen and Urahara Kazuki were also a little uncertain at this moment. After all, such an attack should be a heavy burden for Lu Changkong, who is at the peak of the vice-captain of knowledge. Stupid. Zhengmu Jianbai slashed Daxu in front of him with one knife, looked at Kuchiki Kangchun and said with a pouting grin. Not good. Deadwood Kangchun's complexion changed, because Lu Changkong stepped back in the void with his right foot, and at the same time he no longer stepped back, he actually retreated, and the Snowdrink Mad Knife in his hand slashed across the sky. The enemy advances and I retreat, and retreat is the advance, but it is only a temporary concession for victory, so you don't understand it, and you are the captain of the expedition team. I was also fooled. Fortunately, it wasn't me who faced him this time, otherwise it would be troublesome. Lan Ran thought with lingering fears. Just now, he was also simulating the battle between himself and Lu Changkong in his mind, and found that even if he faced Lu Changkong, Changkong couldn't do better than Kuchimu Kangchun, and even he had the same idea as Kuimu Kangchun just now, thinking that Lu Changkong was exhausted. Is it a step back? To make a temporary concession in order to win, it is indeed Lu Changkong, and every style of the 6 arts of Aohan is actually implicitly proud of the truth. Urahara Kazuki sighed secretly. It is really terrible for such a person to be an enemy. The truth and philosophy of being a man are put into the ultimate trick, and it is calculated in the hearts of people, which can no longer be described as terrible. Boom! With Lu Changkong slashing, the blade of Shuiyan Mad Saber immediately burst into a real blade shadow, and this blade shadow instantly turned into an ice blade that was twice as large as before. At least there are more than 20 meters. While smashing the light of reincarnation, the ice blade did not stagnate at all, and slashed at the body of the Deadwood Kangchun with a shocking might. Bankai Double-Winged Diamond Dragon. Kangchun, who felt the breath of death at the moment of death, couldn't care less, so he went straight to Bankai, and the crystal-colored spiritual pressure of the sky burst out. The body is covered with a layer of diamond-like scales, forming a piece of armor. 2 right fists made of diamond wings appear on the back, and a dragon-shaped diamond helmet is worn on the head, which is simply armed to the teeth. I didn't expect to deal with you, an ordinary god of death, to Bankai. Shame, Shadowbreaker Star. Kuchiki Kangchun's voice contained anger that everyone could hear, and his hands had turned into a huge pile of diamonds. The claws, the Zanpakudo also disappeared. Obviously, his claws were equal to the blade of the Zanpakudo. Brush. After Bankai, Kuchiki Kangchun not only has Reiatsu, but his overall strength has increased by almost 7 times. Compared with Bankai, who just realized Bankai, it is obviously a lot more powerful. Don't underestimate this double. Here it is. Don't say twice after the captain level. Even if it is only a small gap, the winner can be determined. More importantly, this is not twice the spiritual pressure, but 20 times the overall strength. The quality and quantity of the spiritual pressure are increased by 7 times. Not only it is simply to increase the amount of spiritual pressure. His speed was also astonishingly fast. The wings behind him flapped, and he came to Lu Changkong's side in an instant. No matter how Lu Changkong used Shunpo to dodge, he would follow Lu Changkong's side like Lu Changkong's shadow, waiting for an opportunity. Die! Deadwood Kangchun roared loudly. The murderous aura in his eyes showed unreservedly. His claws grabbed directly towards Lu Changkong. Like lightning and thunder, he came to Lu Changkong in an instant. Frozen 3 feet. Lu Changkong grinned Isho. The cold energy accumulated for so long is enough. Just released so many Aohan 6th Ju attacks. Frozen 3 feet, the only move in Aohan 6th Ju. To defend the knife tactics. The continuous blade strength wrapped around him within a 3-foot range, and the ice took shape. After a clanging sound, Kuchimu Kengshin's claws couldn't break through the ice blade strength wrapped around Lu Qingkong's body, and there was not even a trace of white marks left. Ha, it is said that it is frozen 3 feet. Of course, it is not a day's cold. After a long period of time, there is no possibility that it will be broken by you in an instant. The 5th trick is to step on the snow to find plums. Lu Qingkong laughed. His laughter was full of confidence in his own strength. Shuiyin slashed out, and the air was directly torn apart. Treading Shui Zunmei is one of Aohan's 6 tricks. The stronger you are. Knife strokes. From the opponent's attack, look for the opponent's strongest place, which is also the opponent's weakest place. The stronger the opponent's strength, the stronger the sword intent of this move, the greater the power, and the stronger it is. Enough to describe the true meaning of this move. Every time I see his tricks come out, I get more and more shocked. It's true that every trick contains the truth of the world, the truth of being a human being. How can such a knife trick be cracked? Deadwood Shanghai looked at Lu Qingkong dully. That majestic figure like a god of swords, he thought in shock. The stronger you are, the stronger I will be. My Bankai is waiting for you. When you have a chance to be a man in the next life, remember not to provoke people you shouldn't provoke. Actually, a stick on the diamond armor on Kuimu Kengshin's body. The diamond armor with amazing defensive power encounters Lu Qingkong's Shuiyin Quangdao as if it met the nemesis, as fragile as white paper. The blade of Shuiyin Crazy Blade was full of energy, and the very familiar ice blade appeared once, but it may be the reason why it is stronger. This ice blade is at least 50 meters in length, and it extends directly to the rotten wood Kang. Chun's body was cut in half, and he fell directly without even screaming. Silence. That's right, even though there were a lot of Killian around, the death god who watched the whole battle was extremely quiet, without any extra thoughts, and he was completely intoxicated by Lu Qingkong's 6 Aohan tactics that were more inexplicable than a single sword. 5 strokes, just 5 strokes can kill a real captain death, and it is still in the case of the opponent Bankai's full shot. A cold glance, frozen 3 feet, red apricots in the snow. Peach Yao Yao, still there is a person who will eventually encounter the strong and the strong will be strong. It is too strong. Quote. Whether it was Aizen or Urahara Kazuki, at this moment, there was only one thought left in everyone's heart. 402 Destruction. Can I resist? There is also the last move, which should be the most powerful. I didn't expect that even a death god captain could force his strongest move out. This is still Shikai, and who knows his Shikai? There is no other ability, the heart is separated from the belly, let alone Bankai. Quote. Aizen has decided at this moment that he must use Jinghuashuiyu on Lu Qingkong as soon as possible. If he can become an enemy, he will not become an enemy. He really doesn't want to become an enemy with such a person until he can't help it. The truth contains the truth. This kind of swordsmanship is completely incomprehensible in his view. There is no way to break it apart from a force that is several times stronger than him, and it is also the first time that he has no confidence in his Jinghuashuiyu. Break your own mirror. The 31 Scarlet Artillery Cannon. Lu Qingkong expressionlessly faced the body that had been divided into cold dishes, and the Deadwood Kingchun shot a red artillery cannon, directly destroying his body, really destroying the corpse. The calmness is chilling. If people who don't know it will think that Lu Qingkong is just a beast. This is the captain of the death god, and it is also the contemporary patriarch of the Kuchiki family. Although he has not yet become the captain of the 6th division, his identity and status are extremely noble, if not supreme, and he was killed like this. Father. Kuchiki Byakuya just happened to see Kuchiki Kingchun's corpse being destroyed. He only felt that his head was dizzy. His eyes were extremely red, hatred and killing intent turned into 2 cold eyes looking directly at Lu Qingkong. What surprised Lu Qingkong was that Kuchiki Byakuya didn't lose his mind and rushed towards him. Obviously Kuchiki Kingjun's death stimulated him, and even made him more rational. As he matured, Kuchiki Byakuya had matured. Although his strength had not changed in the slightest, he was indeed much more difficult to deal with than before. It's not too stupid. If you rush over, I don't mind cutting the grass and rooting and sending you to accompany your father. Lu Chengkong looked at Kuchiki Byakuya's incomparably hideous look, which destroyed his originally handsome face and let him people shuddered, just like a poisonous snake. Hidden aside, he could give the enemy a fatal blow at any time, but Lu Chengkong was extremely calm, but he didn't seem to think it was exciting enough and threw out a sentence that almost made Byakuya Kuchiki lose his mind. Humph! Kuchiki Beizai's face turned pale. He knew that if he rushed over, he would only become a funeral object. His father was much stronger than him, and he could not escape death, and what he couldn't believe was that Lu Chengkong would actually kill him. A death captain doesn't need Bankai to kill, his strength is much stronger than himself, he must leave a useful body to take revenge. Saifeng Yuan Yi, from today onwards, we will no longer have any relationship, neither do you. No longer a member of our nobility. Hey, I had long expected such a day to come. Fourth Court Maple Leaf also sighed, but he didn't regret it. He didn't expect the town's development to be irreversible, but there was no way to do it. To kill Lu Chengkong, wouldn't Lu Chengkong stand still and let him kill him? Looking at the friendship in the past, all she can do is not to intervene on both sides, let alone kill Kuchiki Byakuya. Of course, the premise is that Lu Chengkong is fine, otherwise, she will definitely make a desperate shot at Saifeng Yuan Yi. Her Saifeng Yuan Night One's bottom line, she won't care if it's one-on-one, if Kuchiki's family plays tricks and fights in groups, she will definitely stop it, even if that person is Kuchiki Byakuya. Not choosing once is actually painful once. The choice of life is actually painful. Lu Chengkong Isho, holding Yi Yi's jade hand as if to tell her that you have me by your side. It's okay, I just felt a little emotional for a while. It was just a little thing that has developed to this point. I just thought it was too amazing, but now I think about it, it is very reasonable. Because this kind of thing happens often in the Soul of the Dead, especially the Kuchiki clan, there are definitely a lot of killings for the sake of a little face or the dignity of the so-called nobles, but there are very few people like you who can resist the Kuchiki clan. Yi Yi put away the complicated look on her face. She didn't regret her decision. He hated nobility and so on. In her heart, nobility and so-called rules were compared with Lu Chengkong. A hair on the body is important. Haha, it's really exciting. Stealing chickens won't cost you rice, but I think that old man Kuchiki Yinling will definitely regret it this time. A death captain's combat power is just gone. Hiriko Meiko laughed heartlessly, but soon he couldn't laugh anymore, because Saraki Hiyori had already stuffed his slippers into his mouth. Clean up these big phantoms, this battle should be over. Lu Chengkong began to cast one ghost after another, and Yi Yi, Masked Legion, Kuimu Shanghai and others were not far behind. Fortunately, there is no Achukas in this group of Daxu, otherwise it is really dangerous. When the sun in the sky came down and wiped out all the big voids, Lu Chengkong's head sank after returning to his tent, his eyes darkened, and Yi Yi on the side immediately supported her and asked worriedly, "What's wrong?" "Hee, the spiritual pressure is a bit overdrawn. Kuchiki Kingchun's strength is really extraordinary. Don't look at me killing him with Shikai. In fact, I didn't have much spiritual pressure before killing him. At that time, I actually didn't have the strength to use it, unless Bankai, and if Du Shui Zunmei didn't kill him, it would really be Bankai." Lu Chengkong sat down with Yi Yi's support, and explained that Bachan Liu and Yi Yi were relieved. At the same time, he also said with emotion, "Outsiders saw Lu Chengkong as very abnormal. The vice captain's peak spiritual pressure, a Shikai cut. Kill Captain Reaper of Bankai. In fact, that's not the case at all. He was just a strong support outside. After all, the gap in strength is not so easy to make up. This is due to Lu Chengkong's completion of Shikai and Bankai. Bankai, of course, the power is not comparable to other Reaper." "So you were pretending. I thought you were really that powerful, so I was still wondering if you were hiding your strength. In fact, your spiritual pressure has already reached the captain level, and now I finally understand it. Underscore. Yi glared at Lu Chengkong fiercely. That charming look made Lu Chengkong tickled. Such a little girl like Yi was rare. 403 Uno no Hanaru's amazing breasts. In the Soul realm, when Kuchiki Yinling received the bad news that Kuchiki Byakuya brought back, he only felt dark in front of his eyes and almost fainted. Although he didn't vomit blood in the end, his face was as pale as paper. This was him, the only son. Strange to say, almost all the direct lineages of his Kuimu family are descended from one bloodline. Maybe God is fair. Although they are from one bloodline, the descendants of each generation are genius gods of death, and every one of them can become gods of death. The presence of the captain. But even so, it still can't make up for the weakness of the Deadwood family, because although the Deadwood family is the largest family, there are many people who offend, and the lack of people has always been the fatal point of their family, so each generation of inheritors must be careful to protect. There is no room for loss, but now his son, and the Death God who is still the leader of the Death God, has died like this, and he still died in the hands of Lu Chengkong. Why not let him be sad and angry? Now there is only one heir left in the Kuchiki family, Bai Zai, but the only thing that is gratifying is that Bai Zai has matured a lot after this time, and the strength of the Kuchiki family is weaker, so the family's status is likely to be affected, as soon as possible. Raise Byakuya. Kuchiki Yinling is indeed a person who has experienced great storms. Although the pain of losing his son made him feel unbearable, he did not lose his mind. Instead, he began to analyze the gains and losses. Grandpa, Kuchimu Shanghai actually followed his father's instructions at that time. He simply stood on the side watching the play and didn't make a move. If he made a move, it would never be like this, and his father would not die. Kuchiki Byakuya said with hatred, seeing that he has returned to Kuchiki's house, he knows that the expedition is over, or that their group of genius seeds who will become Death God captains in the future have also completed their expedition and come back. Nutty, although I wasn't there at the time, I was able to get a general idea of the situation at the time. After many contests, our Deadwood family actually faced Lu Chengkong, not only did not gain the upper hand, but instead failed many times. Do you think he would be what you think is so simple? I suspect that he knew about your father's and me's plans early on, and dug a hole for us to jump in. What surprised me the most was that he hid deep enough, and his strength was so strong. Your father, although he is timid and weak, his strength is definitely not weak. He was killed by Shikai. We all underestimate him. Don't forget that he did not use Bankai at that time. If Bankai is at least 5 times stronger, do you think is the addition of Shanghai useful? Also, have you forgotten that there is a Zaraki Kenpachi by his side, and Yakiru Kusaka, who seems to be harmless to humans and animals, but is also ignorant? Sit back and watch what happened to him. This time we will forget it, look down on ourselves and despise others. Quote. As expected of Deadwood Yinling, they analyze the reason for this failure so quickly. That's right, they not only underestimate the enemy, but they are serious enough not to take Lu Chengkong seriously. Otherwise, the Deadwood family will regard Lu Chengkong as an opponent. It is very likely that who will kill the deer really does not know. So it's not that Shanghai didn't take action this time, but that he couldn't take action, otherwise, Shanghai would be exposed. Although she is now a member of the Kuimu family, as long as she doesn't do anything, then Kuimu Shanghai seems to them. It's just a change of identity. After all, the feelings are still there. If they take action, they will be on guard against Shanghai, and they won't be able to play an unexpected role at that time. It's the grandson who is reckless. Although Kuchiki Byakuya didn't thank Kuchiki Shanghai, he didn't want his grandfather's views on him to become self-willed, and he didn't know the severity, so he directly admitted his mistake. Of course, he was just dissatisfied. Byakuya, I know you don't look down on Shanghai, but he is now a member of the Deadwood family after all. Our Deadwood family is already busy, and you don't know about Shanghai's ability. As a family, it is more powerful, and it is also a shock to other families. As a family, you must let go of your own prejudices, and use what you can use for yourself, even if you hate it, and if you don't like it, you must use it. Play him to the best of his ability, but you can't get hurt by this guy, so you have to control it. Kuchiki Yinling painstakingly taught by her mother-in-law, and Kuchiki Byakuya's face was full of joy when he heard the words. Kuchiki Yinling's words were implying that Kuchiki Shanghai was just a tool of the Kuchiki family anyway, a tool to enhance his strength. He is the real ruler, and it is his master, Byakuya Kuchiki, who controls the tool of Shanghai. Kuchiki Yinling never intended to let Kuchiki Shanghai Writer Zhu or the captain of the 6th Division in his heart. Obviously, his grandfather saw his own psychology and warned him not to ruin the big thing because of the small. For a while, Kuchiki Byakuya felt that a new door was opening to him. This was the door of family life, the door of power, and the most dirty political struggle. At the same time, Byakuya Kuchiki also began to calm down and let go of his heart. Prejudice. The changes in his expression all fell into the eyes of Kuchiki Yinling, which made Kuchiki Yinling very satisfied. This is his grandson, and this is the performance and demeanor that a family should have. Bachinliu, why are you so happy? Ujawali looked at the grass deer Yakianyu who was standing in front of him giggling, and the joy was all on his face, and couldn't help but asked curiously. Giggle, you know, Mom, how bad is that Xiaomu family, Kuimu family? When we went, he actually used Reiki to suppress us, but now he's dead, Luo. Bachinliu giggled and threw himself directly into Ujawali's great chest. If Lu Chengkong was here, he would definitely say that it would be great if I were Bachinliu, because in private, Bachinliu is not. Knowing whether he said it intentionally or unintentionally, how big is Ujawali's breasts, Lu Chengkong almost didn't drool many times and said, it turns out that there is not only a blonde royal sister, a cow girl, Matsumoto Ranju, in the world of death. The black-haired Eugeniu Maujawali did not expect her loose kimono to hide such a hot figure, but it is no wonder that her clothes are so wide that they can completely cover her figure. It seems her figure is as mysterious as her identity strength. Bachinliu, don't blame your mother for talking. You go back and tell your big brother that it is not that simple for the Kuchiki family to become the #1 noble even when the population is not prosperous. With your mother and me. Mauji Walai is a beautiful isho, which makes the beautiful flowers in the whole room eclipsed, as if Mauji Walai is the collection of the essence of heaven and earth, really looking back at Isho by Mei Sheng. 404 Uno no Hanari's gift. Does she really say that? Lu Chengkong's eyes flickered after listening to Bachinliu's transformation. His eyes were very complicated. He was both surprised and taken for granted, but in the end his face was full of joy. Of course, he understood the meaning of Ujawali, that is, let himself not get carried away, think too highly of his own strength, and do not make the same mistake as the Kuchiki family, look down on or despise the enemy. At the same time, it implies that Bachinliu is not only Lu Chengkong's younger sister, but also the daughter of Maujawali. Although she will not interfere in her own affairs or help herself, as long as she is still around, Bachinliu will be fine. Yeah, but what my mother said is a bit strange. Don't you know that I am her daughter? Although Bachinliu is smart, he is still young after all. In addition, Ujawali is very kind to her, and she grew up living in a dangerous place like District 79, so she could feel from anyone whether he was hostile to her. And she obviously only felt the deep doting and love from Maujawali, which was different from Lu Chengkong's concern and love, a little more careful and feminine, and a little less strong, but Bachinliu liked it. If you insist on who has the highest status in Bachinliu's heart, of course it is Lu Chengkong. Bachinliu's careful heart always remembers everything when he first met Lu Chengkong, and his own time. What he said, but because of this, Bachinliu didn't speculate on another meaning in Ujihua's words. Now that I can confirm my guess, the identity or strength of Ujawali is definitely not simple. Even old man Yamamoto should be afraid, otherwise she would not say such confident words. But it's okay, it seems that I really like Bachinliu from the bottom of my heart, and I treat him as a goddaughter, so that's fine, at least as long as she's here, Bachinliu will be fine. Lu Chengkong breathed a sigh of relief in his heart. After all, he was really worried that the Deadwood family would recklessly assassinate Bachinliu. Now everything is no problem. She is very happy to have a mother who loves her so much. After all, for Yakion Ryu, who has not had the love of her parents since she was a child, the existence of Uno Hanaritsu just makes up for her. Xiaokong, why are you in a daze again? Ba Qinliu puffed up his cheeks, obviously very unhappy that Lu Chengkong often ignores him in a daze. Xiaofen fists have been squeezed together. You are in a daze just to beat your momentum. I have to say that the current Bakion Ryu is definitely more lively and happier than the original Bakion Ryu. It's nothing. I am thinking that tomorrow is Ba Qinliu's birthday. What gift should I give you? Of course Lu Chengkong would not tell Ba Qinliu what he thought. After all, in his heart, he just wanted Ba Qinliu to be happy and not be troubled by these things. Every time Lu Chengkong was in a bad mood, he saw Ba Qinliu's smile on that day. Feeling full of energy, troubles vanished. Really, I want a Barbie doll. I want you to make me that Chinese food, and I still have. As soon as Lu Chengkong wanted to give him a gift, Ba Qinliu immediately threw the displeasure on his face to the side. As he went, he happily turned his fingers and said one by one. Okay, I'll give it to you. Lu Chengkong assured, sweating profusely. God, let him go on. Even if he takes all the funds for the 2nd Division, Yi, and the 11th Division, it is not enough. Buy a gift for Ba Qinliu. By the way, Xiaokong, Mommy's birthday is on the same day as mine. You also have to give Mommy a gift. Ba Qinliu seemed to remember something, and immediately said to Lu Chengkong. Of course, your mother has helped us so much, of course you have to congratulate her, but I don't know what she likes. Lu Chengkong deliberately pretended to be distressed, and sure enough, Ba Qinliu immediately showed a proud look. It was obvious that she was ready to show herself. HMPH, except me, no one really knows what Mom likes. Everyone thinks that Mom likes flower arrangement, but they don't know that what Mom really likes is planting flowers, and then arranging flowers when they grow them. This is what Mom likes the most. Ba Qinliu stood on tiptoe and said enthusiastically. I think I know what to get your mother. Lu Chengkong smiling softly, Shunbu left immediately, apparently to prepare a gift. Xiaokong, isn't Ba Qinliu very useless? That's all I can do for you, but I will try to become stronger. I know that my mother is actually very powerful. I will let him teach me tomorrow. At that time, I will definitely become stronger than everyone else, and any Xiaomu family will beat him to the ground. Ba Qinliu made a decision in secret. To be honest, no one except Lu Chengkong knew how strong she was. It was just that one time, Luanju asked inadvertently how powerful Ba Qinliu was. Lu Chengkong just smiled. He left a sentence. If Ba Qinliu wants to escape, there are only 2 people who can leave Ba Qinliu in the soul world. The implication is that even if he himself can only defeat Ba Qinliu, he cannot kill Ba Qinliu. Death, one is the old man Yamamoto, and the other is Mao Zhuali. Of course, this is among the people Lu Chengkong already knows, and the unknown is unhappy. From this, we can see how strong Ba Qinliu is, but now it seems that Ba Qinliu is still not satisfied with his own strength. He has always restrained all his edge and stood silently behind Lu Chengkong, in order to let the enemy ignore her and help Lu Chengkong at a critical moment. But even Lu Chengkong never thought that Ba Qinliu would have such an idea, not only to become stronger than himself, but also to be stronger than everyone else, only himself. If he knew, Lu Chengkong might feeling yelled at the 8,000 idiots. What he wants is only a happy life for Ba Qinliu, not fighting and killing, making Ba Qinliu a god of death. His original plan was to see that Ba Qinliu's self-control was so good, so that she could have the power to protect herself. I never thought of asking Ba Qinliu to fight, but unfortunately Lu Chengkong didn't know this by preparing gifts for Wu Zhuali and Ba Qinliu. The next day, Ya Qinliu went to Uzuru Hanariot's office early, and happily said that he would give Uzuru Hanariot a gift, but Uzuru Hanariot was only dismissed by Isho. Captain Mao Zhuali, I heard from Ba Qinliu that today is your birthday, and Ba Qinliu also made you worry a lot. These little gifts are my thoughts. I wish you a happy birthday and have today every year. Every year has a present. Lu Chengkong also came not long ago. he didn't have any unnecessary nonsense. He sent 2 gifts directly after the blessing. 405 The Guidance of Maujawali. Lu Chengkong's gifts are actually very simple. Yesterday, he deliberately went to select the best peony seeds for a long time, and he personally made it for Bachanliu and Maujawali, which is unique in this world. Vegetable. Where did he know from Yachinliu that Ujawali prefers some dishes with strong aroma and taste, which can be said to be very innovative? At least the smile on Ujawali's face is even bigger when he sees it. Thank you, I like this child Bachanliu very much. She is also very good and never troubles me, but your gift is really unique. Ujawali's words made Bachanliu very happy and glared at the same time. Lu Chengkong, he seems to be saying, look, I'm not as bad as you said. Hee, I also heard what Bachanliu said. This is the dish I made for you and Bachanliu. Try it. That's right, Xiao Lingting's meal is really unpalatable. When he was at the True Spiritual Art Institute, he had no choice but to eat in the dining hall. After he left, he had no choice but to support himself, mainly because his mouth was raised by Dana's superb cooking skills. Although it can't be compared with Dana, but often eating the food made by Dana has stolen a lot of teachers, at least the entrance that I can eat, but in this world, all chefs will definitely be shameless and shameful. Oh, you actually know how to cook. I thought Bakian was talking nonsense before, but I didn't expect it to be true. Ujawali was also a little surprised this time. Although there is no male superiority in the world of death, only whoever is stronger is the master. But in the hearts of many people, men generally have a higher status than women, especially in the world of ordinary people. Unexpectedly, with Lu Chengkong's status today, strength determines his status. He would actually cook by himself. For the first time, Ujawali felt that he really didn't see Lu Chengkong clearly, but he opened the cover of the food in front of him. There was a fragrant fragrance, and when I looked down, it was very delicately placed. Obviously, Lu Chengkong put a lot of effort into adding a piece of chicken at will, took a bite, and the intuition was abnormal. Jiwa Lai was full of praise. After all, she is not the kind of hypocritical person. With her status and strength, she does not need to be hypocritical to anyone. It is delicious if it is delicious, and it is not delicious if it is not delicious. Looks like I'm going to change my opinion on you. No wonder she doesn't want to eat here every time I let Bachanliu eat here. It turns out that the food you cook is so delicious. Surprised, he was very satisfied with Lu Chengkong. He was not hypocritical, neither humble nor arrogant, and had a good impression. If you like it, you can come and eat together later. It's just one more tableware. Lu Chengkong shook his head. In fact, he didn't want to cook. I dare not say that it is delicious to cook by myself, because compared to Dana, it is simply a world away. Okay, thank you first. Ujawali didn't refuse. After all, she really likes this kind of dishes, and he also felt that he really couldn't eat anything else after eating a real meal, so there was also the idea of stealing a teacher. After all, in addition to planting and arranging flowers, she also cooks. She is also very confident in her cooking skills, but now it seems that it is really a mountain higher than a mountain, and this person who is better than her cooking skills is actually in her own hands. It was unexpected that there was a man beside him. It seemed that this Lu Chengkong should have many secrets. With the pistachio of Bachanliu, in this birthday party with only 3 people, it is not monotonous at all. On the contrary, she is very active under her leadership, and Ujawali's smile is even more gentle, especially when watching when Bachanliu flashed a hint of love from time to time. Come with me. Ujawali's voice never seemed to change. Even if he was angry, he was very gentle and polite. After Bachanliu fell asleep, he suddenly stopped Lu Chengkong, who was about to leave. What's going on? Although Lu Chengkong was full of question marks, he also knew that Mauji Huili would not be harmful to him. After all, he did not feel the murderous aura from Mauji Huili. Moreover, with the unfathomable strength of the sea, it is a matter of waving his hands to kill himself. Don't look at the fact that Ujawali is also the captain, and Kuchiki Kingchun is also the captain, but the gap between the two is simply it's the difference between the bug and the dragon. The next scene even strengthened Lu Chengkong's thoughts. Mao Zhawali's strength was very strong, and he was completely unpredictable, because he found that no matter how fast he was speeding up, he even used Shunpo, and he still used Shunpo's speed. Raising to the fastest, without exception, can only follow the body of Ujawali. Not only that, the distance between the two of them is only 2 meters, and it has not changed since the beginning. No matter whether Lu Chengkong reduces or increases the speed, the distance between the two is still 2 meters. This kind of power is appalling. Ha, it's all right here. Mao Zhawali stopped as if it was always the same speed, seemingly slow but fast but graceful and agile, turned around and looked at Lu Chengkong, who was a little out of breath, a little funny. Obviously, Lu Chengkong's small actions just now were all in her eyes, and at the same time she did it deliberately, just to let Lu Chengkong know that killing a rotten tree Kingchun is nothing at all. There has never been a shortage of powerful gods of death in this world, and there are many people who are stronger than Kuimu Kingchun, but how could Mao Zhawali know that Lu Chengkong is an outsider? Of course he would not despise any opponent, but Mao Zhawali's appearance also made Lu Chengkong was a little grateful. After all, this also made the other party's good intentions, and he also knew that it was entirely because the 8,000 Lu Maojiwalai would not treat him like this, otherwise she would not even look at her life or death, and he was a bit young at the same time. The reason why Zhawali brought himself here. I think you have already guessed the idea of me bringing you here. Don't worry, let go of your mind and attack me. That's right, Mao Zhawali was planning to give Lu Chengkong some advice. Don't underestimate such guidance. Having a Super Reaper guide like Uno Hanaritsu is a huge benefit even if it is just a little bit. Okay. After Lu Chengkong finished speaking, he pulled out the Shuiyin Crazy Saber, and watched Mao Zhawali wave his hand and set up an enchantment when he pulled out the Shuiyin Crazy Saber. Compared with his own enchantment it's too powerful, and it's still freely released by the other party waving, a master, an absolute master. Red apricot in the snow. There is no reservation. As soon as he makes a shot, he can catch the enemy by surprise, and can often attack the enemy from an unexpected angle. 406 Sophie's Consolation. The spiritual pressure is powerful, the strength is concentrated, the speed, strength, skills, and even the swordsmanship that contains the truth of the world, the truth of life, is extremely wonderful. No wonder it can kill Kuchiki Kingchun, and it is still in Shikai's situation. Lai secretly said in his heart, but on the surface he still maintained an eternal gentle smile. However, she didn't know when a Zanpakuto appeared in her right hand, and lightly tapped the ice blade that was blowing towards her face. Yes, just a little bit, and with a click, the ice blade tens of meters long shattered into pieces. Countless blocks. Amazing. Lu Chengkong's pupils shrank for a while. It was too powerful, there was no extra movement, a very simple attack, just like the previous Zengmu Kenpachi. It went straight and straight, without a trace of concealment, but when I thought about it carefully, I found that the flower of the Lai's attack just now seemed to be all-encompassing and contained countless changes. This was the real return to the original. Do you understand? Mao Zhawali didn't make another move, and stood silently in the same place, with her eyes unwavering, like stagnant water. Nothing in the world seemed to be able to cause her mood swings. Obviously just standing here, no spiritual pressure is released, but it makes Lu Chengkong feel that he is not facing a person, but the boundless sea, and he is a lonely boat in the sea, as long as Mao Zhawali is one. With a thought, the sea can destroy this lonely boat. Is this the gap in realm? Lu Chengkong said a little uncertainly. In the world of One Piece, King of Pirates, he can be described as a top-level grandmaster. He is extraordinary and holy. Everyone hopes to get Lu Chengkong's guidance, but he came to this power system. In a completely different world of death gods, Lu Chengkong is just a stronger death god by his measure, and there are too many things to learn. Of course there is a gap in realm. This is a gap between souls. How did the spiritual pressure come from? The spiritual pressure was transformed, so how did the spiritual power come? Of course, it is the soul. The weapons are called Zanpakuto, and they belong to the soul. Part of it. Whether it's Shunbu, the power of Zanpakuto, ghosts, or Kendo, Everything depends on the strength of your soul. The source is the soul. There is no need to use ghosts, or even attacks, just a single thought can affect the heavens and the earth, just like this. Quote. As Maujawali said, there was a glint in his eyes, without any momentum or spiritual pressure emitting, but for a moment Lu Chengkong only felt that he was isolated and abandoned by the whole world, and even he had a thought in his own heart that he really heinous, really damn. Huh, Lu Chengkong's face was as pale as paper. This feeling came and went quickly. If it lasted a little longer, Lu Chengkong wouldn't even dare to imagine whether he would commit suicide by himself. It seems that you have understood. You are very good. You have realized it so quickly. You don't have to thank me. I also did this for the sake of 8,000 Lu, and I also think that you have gone the wrong way because of ignorance and pursued it. The wrong way to be strong. Quote. Maujawali smiled, and at this moment, the world seemed to be eclipsed. Everything around Maujawali seemed to be a foil for her existence. If Luanju used chrysanthemums to describe her, then Maujawali was absolutely gorgeous. Peony. Understand it, you still have a long way to go. Maujihuli suddenly disappeared, so fast that Lu Chengkong couldn't see how Maujihuli left. The only thing left was a sentence, I have the world as big as it gets. Quote. This should be the ultimate expert in the world of death. Lu Chengkong took a deep breath, and his spirit came directly to the spiritual world and asked Sophie. Although I don't know how strong she is, she can be said to be equivalent to Sophie in the world of One Piece, King of Pirates, or Lu Chengkong in the world of One Piece, King of Pirates. Sophie also had a serious face. She is now in the same position as Lu Chengkong. Of course what Lu Chengkong has experienced, she has also experienced it. The strength of Maujawali also surprised her very much. How long would you say if I would give Benkai all my power to support her? Lu Chengkong asked with some hope. In terms of the strength she showed just now, without Shikai and Benkai, in the state just now, you can defeat Benkai within 3 moves, and you can kill you within 5 moves. If Shikai, Benkai, I don't. It's easy to say, of course, all of this is my guess, and the real situation will be known only after we have fought. Sophie said this, as if she was worried that Lu Chengkong would be hit, and immediately changed the conversation. You don't need to comfort me like this, it's not like you're Sophie's character, and I, Lu Chengkong, are not as fragile as you think. Don't forget how weak I was in the world of One Piece, King of Pirates, and then I wasn't. Have you become the Supreme Demon Emperor? Although this is already in the past. Lu Chengkong said angrily, but he glanced at Sophie with grateful eyes. Obviously, Sophie's worry just now was also felt by Lu Chengkong, who is now the same one. I have a feeling when I saw that woman just now, that is, if you have her strength, then I think you should be able to break the seal of the ring, and even go against the rules of this world and separate me from you. Sophie directly ignoring Lu Chengkong's words, he said thoughtfully. Forget it, I will definitely achieve it in the future. I really want to ask, is your full name really Sophie? Lu Chengkong asked in a rare gossip, looking at the face in front of him that was the same as a female star with the same name in France in his previous life. Those eyes that made the world fall for him were both Westerners sexy and Orientals. Mysterious, exuding a charming and unshakable charm. When did you become so gossipy? Don't think that I don't know your thoughts. I could feel your previous memories when the soul merged, and you can also know my previous memories, although you can't probe the other party's memory now, but don't pretend anymore. Don't you know it all? I really didn't expect your identity to be so complicated. Did you time travel? Sophie Marceau. The name, appearance, body, and evaluation are all the same, and the world is overwhelmed with eyes. I like your evaluation. Sophie said disdainfully. The contempt eyes made Lu Chengkong run away. The universe is really big enough. There's too much space. Maujawali said it right. The world is as big as the heart is. I know, the more I understand, the more I realize that I'm a frog in the bottom of a well, but I will definitely surpass it in the future. The one above me, this is me, Sophie Marceau. At this moment, Sophie Marceau exuded an aura, her eyes twinkled, and there was an irresistible feeling of oppression like a queen. 407 Cho Maru Silver. Lord Chengkong, which one do you think I should choose? The 13th division of the Guardian? Ranju asked, a little bewildered, and Ichimaru-jin on the side was about the same, but maybe he wasn't used to it. In front of him, who was perfectly disguised like a fox, it was indeed a bit uncomfortable for him to stop disguising in front of Lu Chengkong. Lanju, you'll talk about you later, let's talk about you first. Yin, your strength is not weak. After the expedition, you also have the iron and blood that a warrior should have, not only for the enemy but also for yourself. The strength of spiritual pressure has also remained at the level of 3 seats. This kind of progress is faster than that of more than 90% of the people in the genius class that I was in. The rest are comparable to yours. You can be considered as having self-preservation. Maybe it's time to tell you. As Lu Chengkong's voice became more and more serious, the killing intent on Ichimaru Yin's face became more and more obvious, because he was smart enough to guess what Lu Chengkong was going to tell him. Enchantment, ban. Lu Chengkong waved his hand, and a small yellow enchantment immediately formed and wrapped the 3 of Lu Chengkong. When I first saw your Reiatsu, the person behind the attack was Aizen Sosuke. If I guessed wrong, he even planned to see the relationship between you and Ranju in the battle between those hooligans and you. Shen, is she your inverse scale? If yes, then he will take away the spiritual power of Lu Anju. On the one hand, he can threaten you to use it for him. On the other hand, he will force you to follow him, and he will also he used. Lu Chengkong didn't have any unnecessary nonsense, and directly explained some of the secrets that Ichimaru-jin should know, such as some secrets of Aizen Soyusuke, about where his strength is, such as some things needed for the virtual experiment, and his actions, the last is his ability to look through the mirror. I said that every choice in life is painful. I have told you what you should know. Believe it or not, you can investigate it yourself. I will not forcibly stop your choice. I just hope that you will not regret it and take revenge. There are many ways to do it. Quote. After Lu Chengkong finished speaking, not only did he not remove the barrier, but instead expanded the barrier, because he could sense his thoughts from the unreserved killing intent on Ichimaru-jin. It was taken away, but after knowing everything behind the scenes, Ichimaru-jin also followed the same path without hesitation. It's just that the difference here is that the original Ichimaru-jin was threatened, but this time he joined it actively, but I don't know how it will develop in the end. How did Aizen accept Ichimaru-jin? Really looking forward to it. Have you decided? Come on then. Lu Chengkong beckoned to Ikimarayan, indicating that he could take action. That's right, no matter what, Ikimarayan is his apprentice, and Ikimarayan has been by his side all these years. There is really no tricks, and it can even be said that he is devoted to his duties and does everything. Lu Chengkong also changed his mind about him, and also made up for the fate she would help naked, but he wouldn't force it, but he had to have Ichimaru-jin a certain strength, and if he was satisfied, he would fight with him. Just let it go. This is also a kind of test and protection of the master to the apprentice. Shoot him, magic gun. Ichimaru-jin felt a warm current in his heart, but he didn't hesitate in his shot. With a swipe, the short and seemingly ordinary Zanpakudo in his hand fired himself like a bullet, and it came in an instant. In front of Lu Chengkong. It's too slow. Lu Chengkong Shuiyin didn't pull out his mad knife, didn't even move, he just stood there, stretched out his right hand and squeezed forward, directly pinching Ichimaru-jin's blade. Nothing good. Strange amount. You can tell from the first battle between Kenpachi and Yihu in the original book, Yihu can't hurt Jonpachi's body. Sure enough, it's no wonder that the people in the academy, and the gods of death in Serote have always said that he is the strongest person. Ichimaru-jin's eyes narrowed, and he followed Lu Chengkong's side all the time. He thought he was I knew Lu Chengkong, but at the beginning of the battle, I found that the gap was really big. Broken down number 4, Bai Lei. Lu Chengkong stretched out his left hand, and a lightning bolt had already shot out. The speed was so fast that Ichimaru-jin could barely dodge sideways, but Lu Chengkong also came to his side at the same time, throwing it away. 2 words. Shining flowers. Puchi. A bloody arrow flew out from Ichimaru-jin's body, but Ichimaru-jin didn't fall down. He used the stretched spear in his hand to support his body, and looked at Lu Chenggong with stubborn eyes. I did you pass? Let's go after you, understand, Bankai? Lu Chenggong wanted to say nothing, but the stubbornness and unyielding in those eyes were so similar to his former self, he could only say the words to understand Bankai before leaving. Thank you. Ichimaru-jin grinned. Isho, this smile is the most real. Is this what it feels like to be cared about? Without the slightest interest in it, the pure master cares about his apprentice. Lu Chenggong didn't say anything. He put his hand on his shoulder, and led him to disappear in a blink of an eye. Soon Lu Chenggong reappeared, looking at Lu Anju, who had been talking all the time beside him. You won't stop him. I miss you. He shouldn't have gone, as he said. I know him too well. Once I make a decision, I won't go back. Lu Anju said calmly, although a little sad, but after all, it has not developed to the point of life and death and mutual love in the original book. It is just friends and relatives, and Lu Anju, I really know Ichimaru-jin too well. Don't worry, no matter what, I will save his life. Maybe his choice is right. As long as he has gone through this training, I think his future is truly limitless. Lu Chenggong smiled, and Lu Anju was relieved after hearing Lu Chenggong's words. Although she didn't know how strong Lu Chenggong was, she had never seen anyone stronger than Lu Chenggong so far. Okay, your Reiatsu is already at the level of a vice captain, and your actual combat experience is really not rich enough. You will fight with me from today until you understand Bankai. Lu Chenggong said that he took the lead, and Lu Anju also hurriedly shikai, asking, knowing that although she is stronger than Ichimaru-jin, she doesn't think that her strength is enough to rival Lu Chenggong. Clang. The sound of metal friction continued to sound. That is to say, starting from today, a yellow barrier will appear in this place of the 11th team every day, and the two people inside are also unchangeable, and they will maintain a battle every day. Ah! Lu Anju screamed in pain and flew out backwards. Today is the 365th battle between her and Lu Chenggong, which means that a year has passed. During this year, Lu Chenggong will fight with Lu Anju every day. Fighting has already been said to be abusive. Chrysanthemum. 408 strong pushing chamomile. During the battle, Lu Chenggong did not have any thoughts of pity on Shangxiu, although he did not directly use the snow drink mad knife to slash Lu Anju's body, mainly because he was worried about leaving scars, and he didn't want a woman who belonged to him to be covered with scars, although Maoji Walai it can be cured. But in order to make Lu Anju feel as much pain as being beheaded, Lu Chenggong changed his fist every time when Lu Anju was about to be beheaded. She used her own special cold-hearted spiritual pressure to penetrate the opponent's body, and she didn't hold back her fist. Every time she was hit, she only felt as if her internal organs were about to shift, and sometimes she doubted herself. Have all his internal organs rotted away? What supports him is the same unyielding fighting spirit. Although the Chaos Chrysanthemum would keep screaming after a battle, always scolding himself for not being sympathetic to the fragrant and cherishing the jade, but the harvest was very huge. Bankai with her own talent and perseverance without being taught by anyone. The Shikai of her original book is also incomplete. Now her Shikai is the real Shikai, and its power is amazing. Lu Chenggong also felt that he was going too far. That one move just now seemed to be too forceful. After all, in addition to the progress of Lu Anju this year, he was also making progress. He only made a breakthrough last night, and he couldn't control it for a while. Living up to the surge in strength, seeing the appearance of Lu Anju vomiting blood, he immediately flew over and caught her. Fortunately, one of his two hands was placed on the plump and round buttocks of Lu Anju, and the other hand was placed on her increasingly large, first altitude distance from the original book. Getting closer and closer, the left and right hands felt two constant tastes at the same time. Ah! A terrifying scream spit out from Lu Anju's mouth, directly covering up the scream of pain just now. Fortunately, a barrier has been set up. Otherwise, the ears of the nearby people will all be shattered. A scream was too sharp and high, let alone Lu Chenggong who was holding her. Forget it, I'll never do it again and again. Lu Chengkong lowered his head and kissed Luanju's screaming mouth. Silence, the whole world suddenly quieted down. Lu Chengkong only felt that the world was so beautiful at this moment, and it was precisely because of this that Lu Chengkong kissed the chrysanthemum with all his might. Wu Tilda Luanju was sluggish for a while, and then came back to her senses. Her eyes widened with anger, shame, shyness. It was unbelievable, but in the end, they all turned into shame and anger. The jade hands and legs struggled constantly, especially the pair of jade hands kept beating on Lu Chengkong's chest, trying to beat him out. What made Luanju panic was that she found that her strength seemed to be continuously sucked away with Lu Chengkong's kisses. In the end, her strength could not kill even a mosquito. As if she was massaging Lu Chengkong, her pretty face was flushed red. Like a red apple. How could he do this? This big pervert, what is he doing with his hands? God, he took someone's first kiss, and now he actually wants to touch someone's body. He's so old that he hasn't been touched yet. Ruanju's heart seemed to have a deer ramming, and her heart almost jumped out, because she found that Lu Chengkong's hand went directly through her loose Death Tyrant dress and climbed up to the big baby she had always cared for. Never let anyone touch your body. What? She wanted to struggle, but she didn't have the strength. She wanted to resist, but she couldn't resist being held by Lu Chengkong. The only thing that comforted her a little was inside the barrier, and people outside couldn't see everything inside. Laugh. The sound of clothes breaking suddenly sounded. Matsumoto Ranju's head went blank. Lu Chengkong actually tore her clothes, because they had developed to this point. Anyway, he didn't have much love for the people in this world, and he didn't care at all if he hated him or not. The desire that had been hidden for many years was teased with Matsumoto Ranju's hot body, and Lu Chengkong was desperate. No, don't. Let me go, okay. Matsumoto Ranju begged for mercy, panting. Her beautiful eyes seemed to shed tears at any time, but it was a pity that Lu Chengkong completely ignored her. At this time inside Lu Chengkong's mind all are Matsumoto Ranju's crystal clear jade body carved like a peerless beautiful jade. Under the wolf-like hair, he kissed all Matsumoto Ranju's jade body, no matter ears or jade fingers, no skin on the whole body, including her beautiful legs, can escape. Passing Lu Chengkong's kiss. It hurts. In the end, Matsumoto Ranju could only be pale and let Lu Chengkong be at the mercy of him, but he didn't know why he had no killing intent towards Lu Chengkong, but was only ashamed and angry, and there was actually a little desire in the deepest part of his heart. Especially this little desire made her have the idea of giving up on herself, and no matter what, she still felt very much when she was being raped. For the first time, she hated her body a little and didn't live up to her expectations, but in the end, she could only change into with a scream. A trace of blood dripped on the ground, and soon the most primitive human creation movement was staged in the enchantment. When the clouds and rain cleared, the radiant sun that hung high in the sky had disappeared, and night had come. They actually did it from noon to night, and they had to admire the strength of Death's body. It's really powerful. Lu Chengkong walked out of the barrier holding the chaotic chrysanthemum covered with his clothes. Looking at the ruddy chrysanthemum that still had the blush on his face but had passed out of a coma, he said with lingering fears. At first, Luanju seemed to be struggling frantically, but soon she stopped struggling. Instead, she seemed to be sluggish, but after a few minutes, Luanju seemed to be crazy, and she seemed to be completely ignited by her desires. After all, with such a hot body, she is a blonde beauty with a desire that is different from ordinary people. It is good that she is not provoked. Usually, she doesn't feel it at all. It may be giving up, or it may be the first taste of the forbidden fruit, the stimulation of. He actually turned his back on the customer. He didn't know where the strength came and pushed Lu Chengkong, rode on Lu Chengkong's body, frantically twisted his waist like a water snake, and threw out a sentence. I must chew, if you dare to do this to me, let you know that I can't touch anyone. The face of such a super initiative as Matsumoto Ranju, Lu Chengkong has a kind of idea whether he is killing her or she is killing himself. Why does it seem that he has become a victim in the end? 409 Eat the grapes of the chrysanthemum. The next day, When Lu Anju woke up, she only felt that her whole body was soft and lacking any strength, especially her lower body felt a real tingling pain, and countless images from last night flashed in her mind, making her originally a little confused face suddenly change to a Sichuan face, some anger, some shame, some surprise. He lowered his head and glanced at his body. It seemed that after the moisturizing of the rain and dew, it was even more white and red, more beautiful. The last trace of greenness between the eyebrows had withdrawn, and it was replaced by the first woman. Charm. What the hell was I doing last night? It's a shame. Matsumoto Ranju directly acted as an ostrich, especially the crazy images of him yesterday flashed in his mind, and Lu Chengkong looked at him strangely from the back, and he seemed to change when he arrived. Became a dissatisfied slut who only knows how to love. Let Matsumoto Ranju panic. Don't know what to do. Is this still me? Are you really such a person? Even Matsumoto Ranju, who was still entangled in what he did yesterday, temporarily forgot to ask Lu Chengkong to settle accounts, and he didn't even know that he was still lying in Lu Chengkong's arms. Hee. Lu Chengkong actually woke up a long time ago, but he pretended to be asleep, just to see if Song Benranju's performance would be as good as he thought. He would draw a knife and hunt him down. Now it seems like no, it seems that there is still a relationship between day and night. However, Lu Chengkong is only someone who likes her. He desires more than love. It can even be said that he does not have much affection. In addition to being influenced by his previous life on Earth, there is also the fact that he really can't bring up the feeling of love. The word love has many meanings. It's a great responsibility. He doesn't want to carry such a big burden after he came to this world of death. His love has long been divided up by Khalifa and other women, and in this world, Lu Chengkong found that he has no scruples and can do whatever he wants without any conscience. This is also due to the amazing similarity between this world and Little Japan. He is still shouldering the heavy responsibility of opening the seal of the ring, and he can't express his love to Matsumoto Ranju. Some people simply like her. But since he is his own woman, of course he will not let Matsumoto Ranju have anything to do. Matsumoto Ranju does not ask for anything beyond his own boundaries. He doesn't care what she does. It can be said that Lu Anju is no different from his wife except that he can't get his own love. After all, this is his masculinity, and he really likes Matsumoto Ranju very much. No one can touch Matsumoto Ranju except for her. This can be said to be equal to his exclusive possession, his ban. Well, Matsumoto's chest felt hot, and she found that her grapes were eaten by the nasty guy who got into her body yesterday. Unfortunately, the pain in her lower body and the sequelae of yesterday's madness made her unable to resist. And she also knew that she couldn't resist this guy, so she could only look at Lu Chengkong with fire-breathing eyes. She really didn't expect Lu Chengkong to do such a thing. To be honest, Lu Chengkong still has a very high status in her heart, no less than the rebirth of her parents. She saved herself and made herself a god of death, and taught herself with all her heart. Shangli Chengkong's mysterious temperament, unrestrained style and handsome face, plus his status and strength in the Seoul society. She even sometimes wondered if Lu Chengkong would accept her if she pursued her, but the development of the matter was completely beyond her imagination. Lu Chengkong did not pursue her, and the scope was to directly obtain her body, which made her feel like a slap in the face. Just like turning over the 5-flavor bottle, the sweet, sour, bitter, spicy and salty tastes are in my heart. Don't think about it. Now you can say that you are my woman, whether you admit it or not. You belong to me forever and ever. No one can touch you except me. I will kill anyone who dares to touch you with a finger. The whole family. Lu Chengkong suddenly let go of the grapes in his mouth, although his voice was soft, but the domineering and murderous aura in it made Lu Anju shudder. She could hear that what Lu Chengkong said just now definitely came from the heart, but she didn't know why she felt a little sweet, happy and proud in her heart besides being angry. This god of death, who seemed to be a perfect genius to outsiders, was so infatuated with him that he completely forgot that he was still hating his body just now. HMPH, who wants to listen to you? But no matter what he thought in his heart, Matsumoto Ranju still couldn't understand what Lu Chengkong did yesterday. and he could even be said to be annoyed, but he said coldly, "If you are more talkative, I will train you to be my slave girl." Lu Chengkong was just trying to scare Matsumoto Ranju. After all, even if he couldn't develop love against the women of this world, except for Yachinliu, he would still do it. Tell her that you are a slave girl. After all, he still admires and likes Matsumoto Ranju. You. Matsumoto Ranju's eyes almost burst into flames, but Lu Chengkong actually said such words that made her grit her teeth. The word slave girl was an insult to her. But she is not sure whether Lu Chengkong will do this. What Lu Chengkong did yesterday has subverted her understanding of Lu Chengkong. Who knows if this person who is not afraid of doing whatever he wants will actually do it. After your body recovers, go to the 4th division and try to be the vice captain. Don't ask why, as long as you enter the 4th division and become the vice captain, although it does not say that you can walk sideways in the Soul Society, even if it is Yamamoto. The old man also wants to give you some face. Lu Chengkong is actually concerned about Matsumoto Ranju, but he can't directly express his inner thoughts as he did to Khalifa and Hancock. This is the reason for the lack of love. She is also worried that Aizen will attack Matsumoto Ranju desperately. Although Matsumoto Ranju's strength has greatly increased, if it is a frontal Matsumoto Ranju, of course, she is not afraid, but if Aizen and Kayuga Suzuki come to sneak attack, Matsumoto Ranju is very likely to follow his path. Do you care about me like this? Matsumoto Ranju blinked her beautiful eyes and said coquettishly. Obviously, she was smart and immediately understood Lu Chengkong's intention. It's so charming, didn't you just say you want to treat me as a slave girl? Why do you care about me now? She is a strong and unyielding woman, lively, cheerful, enthusiastic, not a bit naughty, strong and bold. Since her body has been acquired by him, she cannot change it, so he will win the man in front of him, whether in bickering or strength. Or on the bed, although he suffered a fiasco last night, Luanju attributed the fiasco to his first break. 410 Conquering Chamomile. Yeah, Lu Chengkong secretly scolded women for being too smart, and it was not a good thing, but he still pretended to be indifferent on the surface, making Matsumoto Ranju feel like he was hitting the air hard. Just take a rest here. Lu Chengkong stood up, put on the clothes on one side, and looked at the clothes, which contained the heart and love of Khalifa and Hancock. His eyes not only became very gentle, let the side as a woman, she is very sensitive, especially after her first breakup, it is the most sensitive and insecure period. Seeing Lu Chengkong's expression, he didn't know why he was a little jealous. Intuition told her that this unusual dress and shoes were definitely made by a certain woman for Lu Chengkong, and this woman had a very high position in Lu Chengkong's heart, and she could only look up to him now. She was so strong that she asked her to be the best and the strongest no matter what she did. Although she was forced, but Lu Chengkong admitted that she was his woman, then she would be Lu Chengkong's favorite woman. She was sensitive. She realized that what Lu Chengkong likes now is only his body and appearance. Although he sometimes looks at himself with admiration, it is just to appreciate his character and person. There is no love at all. Matsumoto Ranju, who was originally very angry with Lu Chengkong, actually gave birth to a very absurd idea at this moment. That is, he must make Lu Chengkong fall in love with him, and let the man who forced him fall under his pomegranate skirt. I have to say that a woman's thoughts are really unpredictable. One moment was extremely angry, and the next moment changed. Especially for a royal sister like Matsumoto Ranju, who has just been broken up by force, is even more difficult to comprehend. Now that she has made a decision, Matsumoto Ranju will immediately take action. She will not be hypocritical, nor will she feel embarrassed or ashamed for doing so. She is very similar to Yi. And she is not a fool who pays with tenderness and selflessness. On the contrary, he is very rational whether it is fighting or emotional matters. It can be seen from her original book that she directly waved a knife at Ichimaru Jin. She has such the decision was well thought out and a little bit of a woman's psychological and competitive influence. What kind of man is he? He does whatever he wants, is desperate, bold and daring, but sometimes he will show tender and sweet eyes. He is really a man with the same charm, maybe being with him is also a kind of it's a good choice. But I must make you fall in love with me completely, not just like my body. Well, since you like my body and appearance so much, I will conquer yours first. Body, I want you to be inseparable from my body. Matsumoto Ranju looked at Lu Chengkong's back, and suddenly muttered to himself. No matter what Lu Anju thinks, the passage of time will not stop because of her decision. In the future, Lu Anju and Lu Chengkong will do crazy man-making exercises every day, and she seems to be completely ignoring her body. Every time she was crazy, she wouldn't stop until she was in a coma without exhausting her physical strength. Although she still didn't make Lu Chengkong fall in love with her, she did what she planned before. Facing such a stunner on the bed, and after leaving the hall and entering the kitchen, he learned all the Chinese dishes of Lu Chengkong Club. Moreover, she will create changes. She is a noble woman outside. When she is at home, a slut always has a combination of advantages. She not only makes Lu Chengkong completely infatuated with her body, but also binds Lu Chengkong's stomach. For this reason, although Matsumoto Ranju a little lost, but she was more happy, proud and satisfied. At least she failed to achieve the expected goal, and it was even better than she expected, so instead of giving up and discouraged, she was even full of energy, especially emotional. This is even more so. Of course, this is just Matsumoto's personal thoughts. With the company of Matsumoto Ranju, a stunner on the bed, Lu Chengkong will dry the chrysanthemum when he is free, and he will dry the chrysanthemum when he has something to do. In his spare time, he also goes to Ujawali for a meal. It is worth mentioning that in addition to Matsumoto Ranju, Maujawali is another person who has learned Lu Chengkong's cooking skills. Like Matsumoto Ranju, Lu Chengkong is more blue than Lu Chengkong, and her dishes are different from those of Ranju, so Lu Chengkong is often go over to eat, and more importantly, appreciate the graceful and peaceful temperament that Ujawali exudes when he intervenes. Every time Lu Chengkong is in an irritable mood, or his practice does not grow, and when he is unhappy, as long as he sees Maujawali's intervention, his whole body is soothed by Maujawali's serenity, holiness, tolerance for all things, and a gentle aura. Anxiety in the heart. Under this kind of fulfilling life, Lu Chengkong was almost completely unaware of the passage of time. 100 years had passed quietly. In the past 100 years, many things had happened, but most of them were similar to the original. That is the Masked Army, Urahara Kazuki, Kuchiki Kyukawa and others have also become their own positions like the original, the vice-captain's vice-captain, the captain's captain. What is worth mentioning is how Ichimaru Jin and Aizen left Lu Chengkong, who was with him, didn't know and didn't want to know. After all, this was Ichimaru Jin's choice. Let's go. After being calm for so long, Xiao Lingting has become lively again. Lu Chengkong looked at the sky, and for some unknown reason, he suddenly felt irritable. Flo said. Yeah. Matsumoto Ranju nodded very obediently. If other gods of death saw Matsumoto Ranju's performance at this time, their eyes would definitely fall to the ground. Is this still the Matsumoto Ranju who is not doing his job properly and is often drunk? How can she be so well behaved? Especially her pair of soul-piercing beautiful eyes have no reluctance at all, and some are just watery tenderness and inseparable love. That's right, the struggle between feelings of getting along with each other in the past 100 years. Although the chaotic chrysanthemum has made Lu Chengkong completely inseparable from her tender body, but the role of force is mutual, and the same is true of feelings. There is no such thing as a loser or a winner. Both are relative terms. Although Lu Anju made Lu Chengkong completely infatuated with everything about her body, but at the same time, she was also conquered by Lu Chengkong unknowingly, completely infatuated with Lu Chengkong, and from the very beginning, her body bowed to Lu Chengkong's giant. Under the bombardment of the dragon, he found that in the end, both his body and mind were captured by Lu Chengkong, but Matsumoto Ranju was not only not angry, but very happy. Maybe what a woman like her needs is a man who can completely conquer her, whether it is emotional or not. Or the body. 411-411 Shanghai was framed. Chengkong, Mako asked me to tell you that something happened to Shanghai. Lisa Yajimaru appeared in front of Lu Chenggong in a blink of an eye. Her face was a little red, thinking that it was caused by the violent force. Her breathing was a little short. What's going on? Lu Chenggong's face sank. It can be said that due to his own reasons, Shanghai of Deadwood was not bewitched by power like the original book, nor did he become a sharp blade in Yinling's hands, and he was very mature in dealing with others. Why? Could something go wrong? That's right, Mako said that Shanghai killed a comrade of the special unit and became a traitor. Not only that, but the 46th room actually directly convicted the crime and executed it a week later. Xia Ping recovered, and immediately explained his feelings in a simple way. It seems that he should have been calculated. The 46th room has begun to take power. Then the Deadwood Shanghai apparently belongs to the Deadwood family, but in fact belongs to the Yamamoto family. It seems that the 46th room has begun to compete for the old man Yamamoto. The first person to be cut off is Shanghai. After all, his ability is rather perverted. Quote. Lu Chenggong immediately guessed the whole thing, and at the same time, he also thought that it might be the hand of Iran. To say that the current corpse soul world can threaten Iran except himself, the head of Yamamoto, and the flower lie of Maoji. Other than the others, it belongs to Shanghai of the Deadwood, and it is also an illusion type Zanpakuto, and it is indeed possible that Fan Ran participated in it. Go back and tell Mako, don't act rashly, I'll go to Zhongxianghai to find out first. Lu Chenggong said to Yazumaru Lisa after sorting out his thoughts. Yes, Lisa Yahomaru said respectfully, although Lu Chenggong didn't have any official position. Lu Chenggong, the 2nd Division team arranged by Old Man Yamamoto, let Yi Yi Gang dismiss himself. Yi Yi is now the captain of the 2nd Division team and has this power. But Yahomaru Lisa didn't dare to be disrespectful to Lu Chenggong at all, thinking that in Yahomaru Lisa's heart, what she admired most was Lu Chenggong. Ranju, you take Bachinliu to Captain Ujawali, and pay attention, the soul world may not be peaceful, maybe we will also become traitors. Lu Chenggong turned his head to Lu Anju and explained that after more than 100 years of interaction, especially Lu Anju's crazy but very rational sacrifice, Lu Chenggong also saw it in his eyes, and basically accepted Lu Anju in his heart, and became the world of death, except for Ba Qian Lu. Besides, Xian Yi had a place in Lu Chenggong's heart. Understood. Seeing Lu Chenggong's serious expression, Matsumoto Ranju knew that this time might not be so simple. In addition, she was not comparable to Matsumoto Ranju in the original book. She was very powerful in both mind and strength. It can be said that even Aizen does not dare to say that he has figured out the strength of Matsumoto Ranju. You must know that Matsumoto Ranju is more genius than Toshio and Ichimaru Jin. The reason is that the spiritual power was taken away. Not only did Luanju have a complete Shikai, but he also completely mastered Bankai. Besides Lu Chenggong, there were Shikai and Bankai who had never shown themselves in front of anyone's eyes. Their strengths are also unknown. For the current Matsumoto Ranju, she matured earlier than the original. Lu Chenggong sighed. She helped Lu Chenggong deal with all matters, big and small, just like Khalifa in the world of the Plum Thief King. Staying by Lu Chenggong's side became her secretary, never letting Lu Chenggong be troubled by mundane affairs. It's not that the original book is as lazy as the 10th team, she is simply a strong woman, and even surpasses Yi Yi in many aspects, so she is very reassured about her Lu Chenggong. She is completely a powerful death god on her own. I haven't shot for so long, maybe the Soul Society has forgotten my existence. An icy blue light flashed suddenly in Lu Chenggong's eyes, a breeze blew, and a leaf actually penetrated directly through Lu Chenggong's body. It turned out that this was just an afterimage. Lu Chenggong had long since left at an astonishing speed. This is the Palace of Repentance, where the traitors of the Soul Society are being held. Please come back. The two gods of death suddenly stopped Lu Chenggong, showing that I was from the 46th room and worried that Shanghai would escape. It is a pity that if the strength of these two people is to escape, they will not be able to stop them. More importantly, they will know that they are the new death gods by looking at their appearance. Otherwise, they will not dare to stop Lu Chenggong if they have 100 courage. HMPH. Lu Chengkong didn't have any unnecessary nonsense. He directly released his spiritual pressure, and directly pressed the two gods of death in front of him to the ground. The icy bone-eroding spiritual pressure seemed to freeze their bodies and minds. Some are outright arrogance, some are just panic. This spiritual pressure is so powerful. This guy is really not a quiet master. After so many years of silence, maybe many people have forgotten him. Is it a warning? Maybe the Shanghai incident has made him vigilant. The old man Yamamoto, who had always closed his eyes like a dead man, opened his eyes and sighed inwardly. This guy's progress is really fast. He definitely doesn't believe that such a reiatsu is what Lu Chengkong is all about. Iya, the 46th room seems to have a headache this time. Xiao Kongkong is someone who dares to kill Kuchiki Kingchun, not to mention that he is full of wings now. I think even if old man Yamamoto stops him, he will not be afraid. That's it. Hiriko Meiko took a sip of wine and said to Liu Quanqi and the others beside him. I really want to have a fight with him. A fiery fighting intent flashed in Liu Quanqi's eyes, as did the other captains of the masked corps. It seems that the relationship between Kuimu Shanghai and him is really not simple. The many assassinations of the Kuimu family were all killed by Lu Chengkong. Maybe it was Kuimu Shanghai who secretly informed him that this spiritual pressure is really powerful. A hint of surprise flashed in the eyes under Aizen's glasses, but he was more confident. Obviously he has made great progress in the past 100 years. Yin, he is your master. If you want to kill him, will you do it? Fuck, Aizen Vice Captain, don't embarrass me. How could I be his opponent? Let others go, Ichimaru Jin said casually with a calm expression on his face. Lord Aizen, why don't we go down and get rid of him? The existence of such a person is a big obstacle to our plan. Dongxian said with a loyal look. Yes, I don't want such a good subordinate of you to die like this. Yin is right, this guy's strength has always been a mystery. It's easy to expose us if you mess around, and he may have already told me I'm on guard. I tried to use Jinghua Shuiyu on him many times, but he avoided it intentionally or unintentionally. It seems that he may have guessed my ability. Aizen smiled gently, but there was only a cold and wise light in his eyes. Obviously, he didn't care about Dongxian's life or death at all, but he didn't want the power around him to be wasted like this. 412 Soulstorm. You're finally here. I didn't expect that I, Deadwood Shanghai, really only has you as a friend, a great enemy of the Deadwood family. Deadwood Shanghai looked at Lu Chengkong who walked in, and said in a sad tone. It seems that you stayed here on purpose to see who really cares about you, and dared to ignore room 46 to see you. Lu Chengkong suddenly realized that Shanghai of Deadwood is indeed a character who can set off countless storms in the original book. It is really not simple, especially now. He is even more terrifying when he sees through power, and he cooperates perfectly with Mujung. Yes, I didn't expect it to be you in the end. Everyone thought I was the lackey of the Deadwood family, but I didn't expect you to end up being the only enemy of the Deadwood family to come to see me. But that's not bad, one confidant is enough. Too much is worthless. Quote. The Deadwood Shanghai laughed, the sadness in his tone was put away, and it was replaced by joy. You don't have to be so pessimistic. In fact, I'm not the only friend of yours, at least Meiko and the others. I also only know about the whole thing when Meiko sent someone to inform, and it's not that they don't want to see you, but they can't. This matter is not so simple, Lu Chengkong said with relief. I know if you don't tell me, this matter is really not easy. Kuimu Shanghai smiled, but he didn't care. He slowly told the whole story, during which Lu Chengkong's face changed a few times. The changes, some surprise, some disbelief, some calm, but in the end it was a sudden realization. It turned out that Aizen was behind all this. He already controlled room 46, but Shanghai was out to clean up the death god traitor this time. Several of his teammates suddenly turned against him, and his teammates turned against him. Lost his mind quickly. But there is actually an empty mask on such a surface. At present, there is no one in the Soul Society who has this ability except Aizen and Urahara Kazuki who are studying the blur. In this case, it should be Aizen. It seems that he is right. He underestimated your vigilance. It should be said that he did not expect that you would never regard the first team as a teammate. In that case, not only did you not lose your mind, but you did not lose your mind. Behead these gods of death mercilessly. Fortunately, if you are cut by these gods of death, maybe the same thing will happen to you. Lu Chengkong took a deep breath. It was dangerous to be attacked during the battle, especially if he was attacked by his own people. Fortunately, Kuchiki Shanghai never believed in anyone in the special forces, and the people in the special forces were not strong enough. Simple, if Shanghai is a little kind, then Shanghai is now a virtual experiment. You're talking about Aizen, right? Why are you surprised? In fact, when I killed those gods of death, I came back to him. Kuchiki Shanghai said in a surprising voice. And I also know his ability, Jinghua Shuiyu. It's really an old enemy, have you forgotten my ability? Although he can completely hypnotize anyone, he can't hypnotize Zanpakuto. He only targets the host, and our village the positive ability is aimed at Zanpakuto. Pakuto and the host are one, and the host has experienced everything Zanpakuto has experienced. I let Muramasa hypnotize the other party's Zanpakuto, and he has already understood the truth of the matter. At this moment, Lu Chengkong realized that not only the people in the world underestimated Shanghai, but even he himself underestimated him. This guy was not fooled by power, nor did he rely on Zanpakuto as much as they thought, his wisdom, methods, and abilities. Not losing to Aizen at all, but he is sentient, while Aizen is ruthless. It seems that you are right, you are really born enemies, one is the hypnotized host, the other is the hypnotized Zanpakuto. You may really be asking for mutual growth and mutual restraint. Aizen may have ignored this, but he also felt the same. Your threat is supposed to be solved in advance, so what are you going to do now? Defection to the world. Go directly to Aizen to settle the account and kill the 46th room. Lu Chengkong sighed, it will become more and more exciting in the future. Shanghai did not end up being sealed like the original, nor was he confused by power, and even the speed of progress was no worse than that of Aizen. The two of them will really fight. Cut. Killing room 46 is completely painless for Aizen. He can completely hypnotize the new room 46 members, and ask Aizen to settle the account. Let's forget it, that guy's ability and I have grown up with each other, and my strengths are almost the same. The biggest possibility is to lose both sides, wasting time, and he is actually studying the blur. This is very dangerous, but if he dares to calculate me, I will make him suffer a lot. Doesn't he like to calculate people behind the scenes? Hypnotized death against me, then I will hypnotize the Zanpakuto of the entire Seorite to deal with him alone. At this moment, the Deadwood Shanghai is no longer a pure god of death. The most terrible thing is not his ability and strength, but the same as Aizen. The most terrible thing is his scheming and wisdom. It seems that Aizen and Shanghai this time. In the confrontation, Shanghai should be slightly better. You've decided. It's very likely that old man Yamamoto and Kuchiki Yinling will join hands to bury you in blood. Lu Chengkong never expected that the Zanpakuto storm in the Soul Realm would still appear in the end, but the targets were different. Blood of blood, haha, just rely on them. The users of the hallucination-type Zanpakuto must always maintain the most calm and sober head, once they are influenced by the outside world, such as being confused by power like I did before. Not only will Muramasa's ability greatly increase, it's weakened, and it's very likely that I won't be able to contact Muramasa, but now I'm very calm. Although I can't beat the old man Yamamoto, Seoringe has so many Zanpakuto together, so you can protect yourself, and the Kuchiki family also wants to kill me this time. I think they have failed to assassinate you over the years. Doubt that I even have definitive evidence. Otherwise, they can't bear my ability. And they should understand that I am not fooled by their sugar-coated cannonball power at all, and they also know that I am out of control, otherwise it will not be so fast, Lan. The die is just fueling the flames behind. The Deadwood Shanghai stood up suddenly, a kind of absolute confidence and calm temperament emanated from him, and even had an aura of staring at all beings. Such Shanghai is just like the blue die in the original book who just took off his glasses, sharp-edged. By Lu, like a high-level god, it seems that Lu Chengkong really unintentionally created an absolutely powerful enemy for Aizen. Not only is wisdom equal, but Zanpakudo's ability is also mutually reinforcing, and the future is really exciting. 413 Shanghai broke out. Since you've made up your mind, it's useless for me to persuade you. If you don't win, just go to the world. I think I'll follow in your footsteps after a while. Lu Chengkong sighed. The Shanghai at this time is really beyond everyone's imagination. He has a title in the original book, the most ferocious death god in history. At that time, Lu Chengkong still felt that the name was not worthy of the name, but at this moment Lu Chengkong but I feel that this title to call Shanghai is simply worthy of the name. What do you mean? Deadwood Shanghai was stunned. Although he was very wise, he didn't come from across the country after all. How could he know so much? Don't you understand? The 46th room has already started to snatch the power of the old man Yamamoto. After cutting you off, he started to attack the captain, and Aizen has never had the opportunity to conduct a virtual test on the captain, and the 46 didn't she's attack on the captain just give him a chance to experiment. I think Mako and the others are in danger, and even he stretched out his hand to me, so no matter how Aizen's final blurring test is, he will hypnotize the 46th room to try and convict Mako, including me, and there is old man Yamamoto at our root. It is impossible to directly block the entire Soul Society, so there is only one way to choose from defecting, so you can say whether I will follow your footsteps. Lu Chengkong said. Isn't that very good? At least you don't have to stay in such a dirty place when you go to the world. During the time I lived in the Kuchiki family, I saw two dirty things, nobles, pharynx, but they are all worms. Quote. The voice of the Deadwood Shanghai has a strong disgust, although he has the same wisdom as Aizen, but Aizen likes to take the initiative to calculate people, but Shanghai does not like it, unless others calculate Shanghai, it can be said to be too an extreme. Then I left first, it's really not peaceful. Lu Chengkong used Shunpo to leave after saying that, leaving Shanghai of Deadwood standing quietly in place. Muramasa, do you think I'm very lucky? Kuchiki Shanghai suddenly said, not knowing when Muramasa appeared beside him. Indeed, it is indeed your luck to have a friend like him. Maybe this is the sadness of the owner of the hallucination-type Zanpakudo. The owner has terrible abilities that are different from ordinary people, but it is also extremely frightening. Basically, he will never be calm in his life. Like Aizen, he doesn't even have a friend who can communicate or even talk to, but you have one, you are indeed lucky. I can see that she is a very affectionate person. If she has kindness, she will take revenge. Otherwise, he will not be completely reckless to visit you under such circumstances, and he will not trust you. I think if you fail and you may die, he will definitely stand. There is a hint of admiration in Muramasa's voice. Muramasa can be said to be an alternative in Zanpakudo. His wisdom is extraordinary. His original work alone can set off a hypnotic Zanpakudo storm with a single person. It can be seen. Let's go, so that the whole soul world can know that my reputation, Kuchiki Shanghai, can't be offended by anyone, especially Kuchiki Yinling and Kuchiki Byakuya. Let them see the gap with me clearly. In the current situation the Deadwood family in front of me is nothing but rubbish. Kuchiki Shanghai said in a cold voice, and at the same time, his figure flashed and disappeared directly in place. At the same time, the gods of death guarding Kuchiki Shanghai let out a scream. At the same time, their Zanpakudo directly materialized and followed Kuchiki Shanghai's side. Now the Shanghai of Shanghai cooperates with Mujung. The power is not comparable to that in the original book. They are confused by power and can only rely on the strength of one person to fight. Soon, the originally quiet soul realm began to sound a series of screams. With the continuous killing of the Deadwood Shanghai, the more Zanpakudo behind him, and in the end, at least 500 people gathered around him. Take the Zanpakudo. Is this a summons from the Ridden team? Kuchiki Shanghai rebelled, killed more than 500 gods of death, controlled a large number of Zanpakudo, and is still killing, lifting the captain's ban, but using Zanpakudo in Seirenge, we must kill the rotten wood Shanghai. Quote. With the mad killing of the Deadwood Shanghai, the entire Seoul world has been alarmed. Among them, the most frightening are the 46 rooms and the Deadwood family, especially the Deadwood family. No one knows Shanghai better than the Deadwood Silver Bell. It was terrifying. Originally, he planned to destroy what he couldn't control, but he didn't expect Shanghai to be so crazy, and he directly became the enemy of the entire Seoul society. Byakuya, let's go, Kuchiki Shanghai must be killed. Kuchiki Yinling actually led the team directly and brought Kuchiki Byakuya, who is currently the vice captain, with him. It's Grandpa, this kind of person is the shame of Kuchiki's family, I will let him see his own identity. Kuchiki Byakuya said coldly, his eyes flashing with murderous intent. Blow, is power really that good? Kuchiki Shanghai, a super genius that is rare for thousands of years, has an unheard of Zanpakuto ability, and he was hunted and killed because of the power struggle. Jingo Chunshui sighed, and next to him was Yukitaki Shuru. Although they didn't want to take action, this time the old man led the team directly, so there was nothing they could do. Chengkong, aren't you going? Yi suddenly appeared in the office of the 4th Division Ujiwali, and of course, there was a submissive and obedient Broby beside her. This is a battle that belongs to Shanghai. Let him vent his dissatisfaction and anger towards the Seoul society. If he really can't do it, I will take action. Lu Chengkong was lying on the chair, his face was a little desolate. After all, Shanghai was one of the few friends in this world, and he was the one who could trust him. The many assassinations of the Deadwood family over the years were all done by Shanghai of Deadwood despite the danger. He told himself that he could not forget this love. Although he didn't care about it at all after he came to this world and could do whatever he wanted, he absolutely couldn't be sorry for his own heart. Yi, get ready for the war. Maybe things won't be so simple this time. Maybe there will be waves one after the other. Maybe the Shanghai incident is just the beginning. Lu Chengkong stood up after speaking. He left directly, and of course Bachanliu and Luanju, who had been inseparable from him, followed directly. Chengkong, am I not as good as Luanju? Or is my figure not good enough for her? Why do you want her instead of me? Yi suddenly said. She was brave enough to act, although she was a bit shy, she was still brave opened up. I want you too, but there's nothing I can do if the little bee beside you destroys me every time. Lu Chengkong said a little funny, making Yi shyly glance at Broken Bee. Looking at Broken Bee he blushed and lowered his head, so to speak. 414 The strength of Shanghai. Since Broken Bee joined the 2nd Division, Lu Chengkong was going to eat Yi, but unfortunately this guy doesn't know how to do it. No matter where he and Yi go, she is always by his side. Every time she and Yi were about to enter the final step, she came out. And the way she stopped herself was really unique. She didn't pull herself away forcibly, instead she took off her clothes, revealing her still developing tender body, and actually said something that left Lu Chengkong speechless. Everything belongs to Lord Yi. If you want, let me replace Lord Yi. At that time, Broby was still very young, she was just a lowly, and Lu Chengkong couldn't do anything, so the matter between him and Yi was delayed again and again, and it actually dragged on for almost 100 years, until Broby grew up. Lu Chengkong. Chongkong was going to attack today, but if Broken Bee stopped him, he would eat her too, but he didn't expect the Shanghai incident to come out again, and he was in a very unhappy mood now. Brobe, don't mess around. I think Chengkong is serious this time. You've grown up. If you're hindering her, he won't let you go this time. Yi didn't know. Is it really for the good of Broken Bee, or is she eager for Broken Bee to leave quickly? Maybe the appearance of Luanju has made her feel a huge pressure, so she doesn't care about her face. But don't be, well, get ready, maybe there is a real battle. Yi didn't give Broby a chance to explain this time out of the blue. His tone was unquestionable, which made Broby unhappy at the same time. Accept her fate, after all, Yi is her destiny. As long as Yi decides, no matter how uncomfortable or unhappy she is, she will unconditionally implement it. HMPH, this time, I think there are other accidents, and I have taken care of the Broken Bees. Yi probably thought of a better life in the future, and he was in a particularly good mood, so he hummed a little song and left directly. The young people these days are really... hee, I don't even know what to say about them. Ujawali quietly played with the flowers, smiled and muttered after seeing Yi and the others all leaving. She continued her flower arranging career at once, as if no matter what happened outside, it would not affect her. Deadwood Shanghai, you are now a sinner in the Soul Society. If you don't surrender, you may survive. If you resist, you will have no choice but to die. In order to clear the relationship, Deadwood Yinling was the first to speak. Haha, Kuchiki Yinling, you wrapped egg, do you think I will become your executioner? Over the years, I just borrowed the resources and knowledge of your Kuchiki family to make me stronger. I thought the powers you promised were true. Confused by you. You are just trying to pave the way for your grandson, the rubbish Kuchiki Byakuya. Kuchiki Shanghai laughed loudly, seeing that most of the death god captains in front of him were there, and there were still a large number of death gods, but he was not afraid at all, but said proudly. Why do you need to talk to him about this kind of sinner? Just punish him. Kuchiki Byakuya was beaten by Lu Chengkong, but he was even more speechless than the original, but he said it this time, because Kuchiki Shanghai was in front of so many the person said that he was a waste, he had to come out, and he wanted to kill the Deadwood Shanghai immediately. Captain Yamamoto, this kind of sinner comes from our Kuchiki family. It's just unfortunate. Please allow me to clean up the door. Kuchiki Byakuya also knows that if he does not defeat Shanghai in front of so many people, he will only live in the shadow of Shanghai all his life, because during the years that Kuchiki Shanghai entered the Kuchiki family, almost the entire soul world has been destroyed. Everyone only knows one genius death god of Kuchiki family, that is Kuchiki Shanghai, not Kuchiki Byakuya. How can this not make him angry? Go. The old man Yamamoto didn't know what to say. Are you going to kill me and stop you? As a member of the Kuchiki family, don't you know the ability of Kuchiki Shanghai? Asking you to fight with him is like giving food, and the young people today are ignorant. It's okay to let you suffer, but your Kuimu family has soared because of Kuimu Shanghai's reputation, but now they are planted in the hands of Kuimu Shanghai. Haha. Let your Kuimu family actually cooperate with the 46th room to fight against the old man. Look how do you die. Today I will let you see clearly the true strength of the Kuchiki family, and only I, Kuchiki Byakuya, is the real Kuchiki family's future patriarch. Everything you have is just given by the Kuchiki family. Today I will take back everything from you. Scatter, Senbon Sakura. Quote. It's no wonder that Lu Chengkong looks down on you so much. It's really just a piece of trash that exists based on the remnants of the Deadwood family. It's all this trick to use, aren't you boring? Kuchiki Byakuya is extremely furious, but after all, he has passed the impulsive age, and now Kuchiki Byakuya is more and more calm in the original book, but unfortunately the gap in strength cannot be made up by calmness. More importantly, Kuchiki Shanghai is known as the most vicious god of death, and the Zanpakudo in his hand is the nemesis of all gods of death. In the original book, only Muramasa can control old man Yamamoto's flow, not to mention the fact that he now has it. The sound of the river is here. Whisper, Muramasa. The Zanpakudo in Kuchiki Shanghai's hand shattered immediately, and Muramasa appeared instantly, shooting countless black lines from his hand, directly shooting through all the cherry blossoms in the sky, and at the same time shooting at Kuchiki unabated. Byakuya. Empty Chan. Kuchiki Byakuya's pupils shrank, and he no longer cared about using other people's stunts, leaving his coat to escape the attack of Muramasa. As Sifeng Yuan Yei's ability, it's a pity that your speed can't be compared with hers. In my eyes, it is too slow. At this moment, Kuchiki Shanghai showed the strength of his genius death god to the fullest. Not only the power of Zanpakudo, but also the ghost way. Kuchiki Byakuya's Shunbu speed was very fast in the eyes of others, but in the eyes of others, Kuchiki Shanghai's eyes were pitifully slow, and the 6 rays of light directly blocked Kuchiki Byakuya's body. The 88th of breaking the path, the flying dragon strikes the thief Yuntian thunder cannon. Kuchiki Shanghai raised his right hand, aimed at Kuchiki Byakuya and directly shot a huge straight beam, so powerful that the air vibrated wherever he passed. Even the air close to the beam is directly twisted. He was able to give up singing in the 88th way, and his power is so huge. At this moment, countless death gods were shocked, and the most surprised was Jiro Tetsusai, who was standing beside Urahara Kazuki. He is a big ghost. The elders rely on ghosts to live their lives. I didn't expect that the Deadwood Shanghai was so powerful, and ghosts were so proficient. 415 overwhelming advantage. Bankai Senbon Sakura Kujiyoshi. Kuchiki Byakuya said nothing, although he was also shocked by Kuchiki Kujiyoshi's power, but it was more of a shame. Ask yourself that he couldn't do Kuchiki Kujiyoshi to release 88 without singing. And the power is so amazing. At this moment, his killing intent towards Kuchiki Shanghai increased to the greatest extent. If Kuchiki Shanghai exists for a day, then Kuchiki Byakuya will always be just below Kuchiki Shanghai in the eyes of others. As Bankai, the power seems to be much stronger than before, but is it useful? Muramasa. Kuchiki Kyukawa seems to be intoxicated in the battle. The fire in his eyes is becoming more and more obvious. He is indeed venting himself through the battle dissatisfied. He hasn't let go of everything to fight for a long time. You who became Zanpakuto will always be the tool of the god of death. Are you willing to be controlled by such an incompetent person? Muramasa's voice seemed to contain an extraordinary power of temptation. Senbon Sakura, which had been scattered, was instantly put away and turned into the most powerful one. The original Zanpakuto, and at the same time this Zanpakuto soon turned into a masked Japanese samurai. Senbon Sakura. Kuchiki Byakuya was stunned. It wasn't that he didn't know Muramasa's ability. On the contrary, he was very clear, but he never thought it would be so terrible. He turned his Senbon Sakura back with just one sentence. After being hypnotized, not only Kuchiki Byakuya was stunned, but Kuchiki Yinling was also stunned. He never thought that Kuchiki Shanghai would be so powerful after he did not hide his strength. Senbon Sakura after Bankai was solved in one sentence. Such a change has strengthened Kuchiki Yinling's killing intent on Kuchiki Shanghai. This kind of person, if you can't use it for yourself, you must die. Captain Yamamoto, the criminal Kuchiki Shanghai's strength is too strong, and it will cause him to harm the corpse and soul world. The old man recommends everyone to take action together. Kuchiki Yinling said with a just face. People who didn't know him really thought him how just. Shameless, hypocritical, shameless. At this moment, people with some brains and wisdom have to admire Kuchiki Yinling. No wonder he can become the head of the family. No wonder the Kuchiki family can become the first family. So shameless cannot be strong. Okay. Although old man Yamamoto despised Kuchiki Yinling in his heart, he also knew that Kuchiki Shanghai was out of control. Such an ability made him escape, and if he grew up completely, it would be absolutely terrifying. Behead the rotten wood Shanghai. Deadwood Silver Bell shouted and rushed over first. It was no longer the seal of the original book, but beheaded. Haha, come on, I'm not afraid of how many of you, are you Zanpakuto? Muramasa, let me control them, and the Zanpakuto behind me, these are the gods of death that slave you, kill them, then you are free. Not only was Kuchiki Shanghai not afraid, but he laughed wildly, and the Zanpakuto behind him immediately swarmed up. Of course, in addition to the battle that took place in this place, a certain person from the 5th Division was specially taken care of by Kuchiki Kyoka. That person was Aizen Sosuke, and there were at least hundreds of Zanpakuto behind him. Chase him. The bastard Kuchiki Shanghai. I would actually ignore his Zanpakuto. It's really a wise man who will make a mistake. Jinghua Shuiyu can completely hypnotize the god of death, and even if they die, they may reveal me, but I forgot Kuchiki Shanghai the village is able to hypnotize the Zanpakuto that I can't hypnotize. He must know about me from the Zanpakuto, otherwise, there won't be so many Zanpakuto chasing and killing me, bastard. For the first time, Lanran Suo Yusuke felt shocked and felt that he underestimated the world. It turned out that apart from the old man Yamamoto, Lu Chengkong, Bachinliu, and Luanju, the strengths of these people were unknown and should not be underestimated. He has been hiding himself. God, he knows how many Zanpakuto hypnotized by Kuchiki Shanghai, and in Shikai's case, at least 1,000 Zanpakuto have been hypnotized for his own use, and his wisdom is equally terrifying. This person is definitely a formidable enemy, and my Jinghua Shuiyu is mutually reinforcing. I underestimate him too much, thinking that he is just a chess piece of the Kuimu family, which can be destroyed at any time. Unexpectedly, the first army is actually turned against the army now. No, the virtual test must be carried out on Hirako Meiko and the others, and Kuchiki Shanghai has definitely guessed it. If he was allowed to reveal his abilities, it would be troublesome if Meiko and the others were prepared. Just seeing the Zanpakuto behind him, Aizen became depressed. Of course, it would be easy to kill Zanpakuto with his strength, but if he did, he would probably expose himself. Not to mention Aizen, who was extremely depressed at this time. On the other side, Hyuki, who was surrounded by the death gods of almost the entire Sarange with a single Zanpakuto, was completely injured. This is still surrounded by so many gods of death, and it is not as simple as 4 hands, at least thousands of hands. Several of them are still captains, and Captain Yamamoto is also one of them. No matter how powerful he is, it is impossible for him to defeat so many people. An old Yamamoto is enough for him to drink a pot. Come on, Kuchiki Shanghai is about to die. Kuchiki Yinling's face was overjoyed. Seeing Kuchiki Shanghai's tired look, he increased his strength and directly used his own Shikai trick, Meteor Blooms. Quote. The Zanpakuto in his hand disappeared immediately, turning into a group of starlights, and with the will to destroy everything, he shot at Shanghai of the Dead Wood, who was surrounded and beaten by so many people and couldn't be distracted. Hey, I didn't expect to use my Bankai in the face of such a guy. Kuchiki Shanghai instinctively felt the breath of death, and just when he didn't dare to hide his clumsiness and plan to use Bankai, a cold voice suddenly sounded. When did the soul world degenerate to such a level that so many people beat up one person, and didn't the Deadwood family say that the first clan is very powerful? Why can only the group fight and hide behind the Yin people? It seems that the Deadwood Shanghai said that's right, a waste family. The cold light flickered, the stars fell, and the powerful spiritual pressure pressed against the group of gods of death, causing some gods of death who were not strong enough to be directly crushed to the ground, with their faces pale and trembling as if they were cold. Lu Chengkong, Deadwood Yinling's face was icy cold. In his opinion, it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, but it was destroyed by the person in front of him, and the person in front of him was the enemy of the Deadwood family, but unfortunately he was stunned by anger. The words of the mind completely forgot that Kuchiki Kyukawa has no Bankai until now, and if he wants to escape, he only needs to let the Zanpakuto charge him, and he can completely break out of the encirclement. 416 The Terminator of Deadwood House. Why, did I say something wrong? Your family is trash and dirty, you are not convinced, come to one-on-one. Lu Chengkong beckoned, his voice full of audible sarcasm. What qualifications do you have to fight against me? Kuchiki Yinling was at a loss for words. He was really afraid of Shanghai just now. Otherwise, he wouldn't have said such shameless words, but of course these words couldn't be said. I did find an excuse to compare the past. Are you afraid? Anyway, you are all trashy enough. If you don't dare, just let you and the useless Kuchiki Byakuya go together. If you are afraid of that, then let's fight again. I think I haven't had a long time. Hands on, you all think I'm a decoration. And your Kuchiki family has assassinated me many times. Do you think I will be afraid that your forces will not take revenge? Haha, don't laugh at people, I'm just waiting for an opportunity to bring your family to a nest. Feel it, the clan of your Deadwood family. Lu Chengkong's eyes flashed a cold light, and he sneered. What? Kuchiki Yinling's face changed slightly, and he felt it immediately and suddenly found that there were indeed many spiritual pressures on the Kuchiki family. You must know that the Kuchiki family is not very busy, and the people in the family are just servants. As for G, of course there are forces secretly cultivated by the Deadwood family, but these are secret forces that must not be exposed. You bastard, who dares to ignore the rules of the Soul Society, and dare to do something to the Deadwood family, the model of the Soul Society, and you can't leave it. Kuchiki Yinling's eyes are about to split. If the anger of his emotions can burn people to death, the anger in Kuchiki Yinling's eyes can really sweep away and burn Lu Chengkong to death. At this moment, he no longer has any scruples, and he doesn't believe that he can't deal with this arrogance. The boy, and there are so many people looking at him. The previous beating was justifiable, but now Lu Chengkong said that his family assassinated the other party, and the other party did not break the law, and provoked himself in front of him. If he was retreating, it was possible that he would not say it in front of so many people. The Kuchiki family was scared. I don't believe that your Zanpakudo ability is as perverted as Kuchiki Shanghai. The old man is also the captain of the death god who has existed for many years. I don't believe that you can beat the old man as a newcomer. Didn't you say that the two of you will go together? I'll make it happen to you. Kuchiki Yinling flashed countless thoughts in his mind in an instant, and quickly decided. The person who dares to insult the Kuchiki family must bear the price for what he did. Since you dare to clamor for the Kuchiki family, I will fulfill you and Baizai will come together. Cut, I thought you were brave, but it wasn't a group fight in the end. Countless gods of death despise the Kuchiki family even more, but unfortunately they didn't dare to show it because of the strength of the Kuchiki family. It's really courageous. Then the two generations of the Deadwood family who specialize in waste will join the two generations together, if not, fight in a group. Lu Chengkong looked as if he had discovered a new continent. The sarcasm in his voice made Baizai Kuchiki feel a little hot, but Kuchiki Yinling, who was very skilled, was poised, which made one have to admire Yang's hotness as an old man. Shameless. Shanghai, release the hypnosis, so as not to make excuses when the two wastes lose. Lu Chengkong said to the Deadwood Shanghai behind him. Okay, I'll watch your performance. Kuchiki Shanghai nodded and glanced at Muramasa, who immediately relieved Senbon Sakura's hypnosis. In fact, Kuchiki Shanghai also wanted to see Lu Chengkong, who hadn't done much for 100 years. How strong. Come on. Lu Chengkong waved his hand, saying that you can shoot at any time. Feel free to let the horses come over. Positive solution. Senbon Sakura Kujoshi. Kuchiki Byakuya is not the same Kuchiki Byakuya he used to be. He used to be young and vigorous, but after being defeated by Lu Chengkong many times, he no longer underestimates Lu Chengkong. Maybe he also realized that this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to kill Lu Chengkong, so he shot Benkai, obviously intending to take advantage of the opportunity to defeat Lu Chengkong in one fell swoop. Beautiful, constellations. Kuchiki Silver Bell was calmer than Kuchiki Byakuya. Instead of Benkai, he used Shikai. In an instant, Kuchiki Silver Bell seemed to turn into a dazzling constellation in the dark sky. Almost all eyes were drawn to him. Damn, that guy Mako is right. The Zanpakudo of the Kuchiki family doesn't say how powerful it is, but every one of them is definitely a slap in the face. Lu Chengkong sighed inwardly. Looking at the Deadwood Silver Bell that was not surrounded by a little starlight at this time, he was also ready to fight. After all, the Deadwood Silver Bell is the god of death that has existed for many years. The original book concealed the existence of the Deadwood Shanghai, although there are also Deadwood in it. The reason why Kyukawa was bewitched by power and couldn't summon Muramasa. 61 and 6 sticks of light prison. Maybe this trick is really useful. The 3 generations of Deadwood like to use this trick, and Lu Chengkong is blocked by 6 lights after brushing. Senbon Sakura Kujoshi. As expected of the grandparents, the cooperation between them can be described as perfect, at the moment when Kuchiki Yinling used the 6-stick light prison. Byakuya Kuchiki directly controlled Senbon Sakura Kujoshi with his hands, and the speed was doubled. The blades made of hundreds of millions of cherry blossoms directly surrounded Lu Chengkong to form a sphere, which turned rapidly, and at the same time kept tearing willow from all directions. Long sky. Hiss, wow, what a spectacular scene. Who is that person? Isn't he scared and stupid? And he was surrounded directly. You know the shit, that person was Lu Chengkong, who was all-powerful in the past. Whether it was the captain of Kenpachi Zengi, the vice-captain of Kuchiki in front of him, or even the captain of the expedition team, Mr. Kingchun Kuchiki, they all died in the hands of this person. Isn't it so good? So he has become the Terminator of the Deadwood family. Well, the old man Yamamoto's eyes flashed, staring at the sphere in midair entirely composed of cherry blossoms, sighing inwardly, the gap is still so big, others don't know, but the old man Yamamoto does see clearly. In the Deadwood the moment Yinling used the 6th light prison, Lu Chengkong had already left the place. The only thing that is bound is an afterimage. This kind of shunpo, which is more advanced than Kong-chan, is only mastered in the Saifeng Yuan family, and this is a taboo skill, except for the patriarch and the heir of the patriarch. Even the elders cannot learn it, but unexpectedly, it was learned by Lu Chengkong. What are you happy about? Just when Kuchiki Yinling thought that he was secretly happy that he succeeded, a voice suddenly sounded, and the smile that Bibi raised at the corner of his mouth froze instantly, and when he looked around, he found that Lu Chengkong appeared next to Senbon Sakura Kajyoshi at an unknown time. So what's inside? 417 Bankai of Deadwood Silver Bell. Shunbu secret skill, afterimage. Shunbu is even more advanced than Kongchan. I didn't expect that Saifeng Yuan Yi would teach it to you. Kuchiki Yinling was worthy of being the eldest god of death besides the old man Yamamoto, and was stunned. I understood it after a while. Give it back to you. Binding Road 61 6th light prison. Lu Chengkong stretched out his hand a little, and Lu Daoguang directly blocked the Deadwood silver bell. Almost at the same time, Lu Chengkong disappeared in place, and came to the Deadwood like a ghost. Beside Yinling, 2 cold words came out of his mouth, shining flowers. Chi-chi. A piercing sound of swords and metal colliding suddenly sounded, and I saw Deadwood Silver Bell was surrounded by a large number of unknown cherry blossoms, dangerously resisting Lu Chengkong's flashing flowers, who had eaten this bad Deadwood. Byakuya, but Senbon Sakura part of the Dark Vice Admiral was put away. Hey, getting close to me is the biggest stupidity in your life, let it go, the starry sky strikes. Deadwood Yinling's killing intent skyrocketed, and the dark sky suddenly burst into a meteor-like light, and Lu Chengkong's head instantly fell on top of it. Fantastic meteor with the power to destroy everything. A cold glance. Lu Chengkong's face remained unchanged, and he slashed at the top with his backhand. The ice blade emitting a biting chill directly broke the shackles of the air, and forcibly cut off the meteors in the sky. The 90 of the broken way, the black coffin. While dealing with the blow from the starry sky, Lu Chengkong's right hand was gently raised, and a black wall-shaped cuboid was trapped directly by the skill-rotten wood silver bell. At the same time, the countless shadow blades did not have the slightest mercy, went straight through. Oh my god, that's the ghost road of number 90. He can actually give up singing and show it directly. Most of them, including Jingle Chunchui and others, took a breath. At that time, Aizen also used the ghost way of number 90, but the power was only 1/3 of that of singing. And now Lu Chengkong's black coffin is not as strong as it is when singing, but it has at least half of its power. Does that mean that the current Lu Chengkong is even higher than that of the blue-dyed ghost who left the Soul Realm in the original 100 years later? He can no longer be described as a genius. He is simply the darling of the gods. It is not an exaggeration to be called a genius among geniuses. The old man Yamamoto sighed complicatedly. On the one hand, he was happy that his eyes were so vicious, and at the same time, he was also sighing for Lu Chengkong, because he knew that Lu Chengkong would be the great enemy of the Soul Society no matter what after tonight. And it's not that he doesn't want to shoot, but that he can't. First, if so many people attacked Lu Chengkong, he would lose his identity. Second, he had already determined that Bachinliu was indeed the daughter of Maoji Hualikan, and his status was not low, while Lu Chengkong's identity was too complicated. Now, the captain of the 81st team of Zergigian has a great relationship with him. On the other side is Saifeng Yuan Yi. Currently, the contemporary owner of Saifeng Yuan is also in a relationship with him. For various reasons, the old man Yamamoto has been for a while. I was very entangled and didn't know whether to make a move or not. Hey, Jingle Chunshui and Yukitaki Shiruro, as disciples of the old man Yamamoto, of course knew what the old man was thinking. They also felt very helpless. They didn't expect that the student who beckoned himself in such a short period of time had surpassed him. Oneself and others, and it is not a one-sided transcendence, but Shunpo, Ghost Dao, Shidao, and Kendo at the same time. Although Lu Chengkong has never used Baida or Kendo, but looking at Lu Chengkong's current performance, he knows who is the most powerful in Baida. Of course, it was the Knight of Saifengyuan, and Yi Yilian, Shunpo and Afterimage, were passed on to Lu Chengkong. Would Baida still not teach them? And Lu Chengkong is inextricably linked with the mysterious Super Kendo Master Mao Zhawali, so Kendo can't be bad, right? You must know that it is not so easy to achieve such a high level of cultivation with the 4 skills of the God of Death at the same time. It is very strong to be able to unilaterally improve a dead sleeve to the extreme, and to cultivate the 4 skills at the same time, it takes a lot of effort and time. It's not comparable. How many people can do it in the past, and how much time did Lu Chengkong take? It only took 100 years to do it, which is too perverted. Grandpa, Kuchiki Byakuya's face changed greatly, while he was shocked by Lu Chengkong's strength. With a pair of 2, he was already Bankai, and the other party was just that Shikai not only did not fall into the disadvantage, but suppressed both of them. And now he doesn't need to sing and use such a powerful ghost, which surprised him Kuchiki Byakuya. However, while surprised, he was also jealous and resentful. Why every time he thought he surpassed him, he would ruthlessly smash himself, and every time he would find that the gap between himself and him was still that big. Bankai, destroy the constellations. An incomparably majestic low voice suddenly came from the black coffin, and with a bang, the powerful spiritual pressure was vented in all directions like a tide, and there were circles of ripples in the air. Captain Death, who has existed for at least 400 years, Kuchiki Yinling finally showed his terrifying strength at this moment. Click. The surface of the black coffin suddenly appeared with patterned cracks. With a click sound, the black coffin shattered instantly, revealing the figure of the dead wood silver bell, covered with scars, blood in many places, and eyes widened. Obviously he didn't expect Lu Chengkong to be so powerful, and he was hit for a while, but fortunately Bankai was in time, otherwise, he wouldn't have much combat power if he didn't die. Byakuya, go all out, meteor shower. Kuchiki Yinling's voice was calm, but the calmer it was, the more angry it felt. At the same time, Lu Chengkong only felt as if he was locked. Obviously this is an ability of Kuchiki Yinling Bankai. Jijing Senbon Sakura Kujiyoshi. Byakuya Kuchiki was no longer hiding, and used his strongest Bankai stunt at present. The cherry blossoms in the sky instantly formed countless Zanpakuto, which were then arranged in the air while surrounding Lu Chengkong. In an instant the endless darkness will flow in. Lu Chengkong found that he seemed to be in an independent space, his own strength seemed to be under some kind of oppression, and at the same time, the Zanpakuto that surrounded him in all directions burst into a crimson light. Go to hell, Kuchiki Yinling yelled. He was so angry for the first time in so many years. How long has it been? How long has he not been injured? It's been too long, he can't remember. And now he's actually being in front of a junior. How could he not be angry when he was like this in front of so many people? The stars in the sky like fire and rain actually merged together in an instant and turned into a huge meteor, with a terrifying force that shook the world and directly slammed into Lu Chengkong, who was locked below and surrounded by Zhanjing. It can be said that at this moment Lu Chengkong has nothing to hide. 418 defeated Deadwood Byakuya grandson. Treading the snow to find plums. Lu Chengkong snorted coldly. The spiritual pressure in his body erupted without being surrounded at this moment. The icy and surging spiritual pressure as unfathomable as Dame was actually caused by a huge meteor attack in the sky. It stopped. At this moment, Lu Chengkong poured all the icy spiritual pressure on his body into the snow drink crazy blade, causing the snow drink crazy blade to burst into an ice blue light, directly radiating the crimson blade light. The dark space is illuminated. Don't forget that Lu Chengkong's move was strong when he was strong. He was suppressed by JJ Jing, and the huge Lu Xing in the sky contained extremely powerful strength. Lu Chengkong did not choose to find the opponent's weakness, nor did he retreat. Instead of hitting the opponent's strongest place directly, unleashing one's most powerful strength, and making full use of the characteristic of being strong when it is strong. "Break it for me," Lu Chengkong roared, and a 200-meter-long ice blade shot out. Wave after wave of powerful forces broke through Senbon Sakura Kujyoshi, annihilation seen in an instant, and there was no room for turning around. It collided directly with the meteor shower. When the two touched, the rays of light were radiant, directly illuminating the dark night sky of the Soul Realm, causing countless death gods to close their eyes involuntarily. The surging power and spiritual pressure constantly collided, and the aftermath radiated directly to the sky. The ground was cracked, and the surrounding space even had VV's distortion. Some of the 5 seat gods of death were directly blasted out. This was the aftermath of the collision of the two powerful tricks. If they were in the middle, even old man Yamamoto would not dare to use his body to block, although the Reiatsu of the old man Yamamoto is very powerful, but he has no masochism either. Breakthrough, Shuiyin Crazy Saber, there is no strongest, only stronger. Lu Chengkong's voice seemed to infuse the Shuiyin Crazy Saber with infinite energy. It seems that it is really like what Lu Chengkong said, when it is strong, it is stronger, and every time it is a little stronger than the opponent's unique trick. A loud bang, like a spark hitting the earth, rang out suddenly. The sound was so loud that the air couldn't help but ripple in circles, and some gods of death felt that their ears seemed to be deaf. When the dazzling light dissipated and the billowing smoke was blown away by the breeze, the 3 people inside were exposed, and the outcome of the battle was also revealed. Kuchiki Byakuya was standing recently and was affected. The noble death tyrant outfit had turned into a beggar outfit. Frost appeared all over his body, and a lot of blood was frozen by the frost. At this time, he didn't have much. With strength, he fell to the ground with no image. On the other side, the dead wood Yinling was even worse. The whole person was frozen. At the same time, there was almost no good flesh on his body, and the wounds were covered with thick frost. It seemed that he could not survive. All obsolete. Silence. Most of the Shinigami didn't expect such an ending. If Kuchiki Byakuya would be defeated, they thought it was normal, but under the siege, the veteran Shinigami captain, Kuchiki Yinling lost the battle in Benkai's case, and it seemed that both looks like he can't survive. Ha ha, it's bad. Lu Chengkong just showed a smile, and immediately felt a burst of spiritual pressure, but this spiritual pressure was like a flashing meteor. If you don't pay attention, you may not really feel this short-lived spiritual pressure, but Lu Chengkong knows who the owner of this spiritual pressure is. That's right, Aizen, and the intensity of the spiritual pressure he just burst out is obviously exceeding with his disguised strength. It was clear that Mako and their strength exceeded Aizen's expectations and had to reveal their strength. Lu Chengkong immediately glanced at the people present, and found that Kazuki Urahara and Tetsusai, who were still here just now, had left at an unknown time, and at the same time, he also realized how a group of them hadn't appeared for a while. The confused thoughts were immediately cleared up. Aizen actually acted ahead of time, and conducted a virtual test on Mako and the others in advance. Lu Chengkong's face sank as soon as this idea appeared in his mind. He must have guessed that Kuimu Shanghai already knew that the person behind the scenes was him. For the sake of Yi Chengmeng has a lot of dreams, so he took advantage of the opportunity to fight with Kuchiki Yinling and Kuchiki Byakuya here, and shot directly ahead of time. With this idea, Lu Chengkong smashed the deadwood Shanghai out without saying a word, leaving a sentence and disappeared directly in place. Shanghai, leave here, something happened to Junzi and the others. Originally still a bit inexplicable and unhappy after being kicked, Shanghai Kuimu changed his face when he heard the words. With his wisdom, of course he understood what was going on, but he was besieged by so many people just now, whether it was Reiatsu or his body. They were all very weak, so he had to leave here first. Huh, a trace of doubt flashed in the eyes of the old man Yamamoto. He saw surprise in the expressions of Shanghai and Lu Chengkong. Could it be that something happened? And the fleeting spiritual pressure just now, Is there any connection between the three? Old man, what should I do now? Jingle Chunshui was the only one who dared to talk to old man Yamamoto. He instinctively felt that something was wrong, but he didn't know what was wrong. I have to say that he was already deeply hypnotized by Jinghua Shuiyu. If Lan Ran didn't say it, he really didn't know, and he didn't even know that he had been recruited. How could he find a way to crack it? This is the most terrifying place in the mirror. Let him go, he is not the god of death of the 13th division of the Guardian 100 years ago. He resigned from the official position that the old man Yamamoto had forced on him. It can be said that he is a person outside the 13th division of the Guardian. He really does not need to care about it, and when he appeared on the stage just now, he said that he did not like the Kuchiki family and came to challenge it. Now he is fighting a group of two. Even if he was beaten like this, he really couldn't seem to blame him, and even if the old man Yamamoto was willing to take action, it would be useless. With Lu Chengkong's strength, it would not be a problem to retreat completely. You must know that Lu Chengkong has only used Ghost Dao until now. Shikai and Shunbu are alone, such as Kendo, Bai Da, and Bankai are useless. Who knows how much strength the opponent has hidden? Even if he shoots, he can only defeat Lu Chengkong. And cannot be killed. Instead of making Lu Chengkong and himself enmity, it is better to give Lu Chengkong a favor for Mao Zhawali's sake, and stick to good cooperation. I have to say that the old man Yamamoto is more skillful than the 4 great nobles in the 46 rooms. Even if the power is now being overridden, it cannot stop the old man Yamamoto from doing what he has to do, because he was originally the most powerful death god in thousands of years, and this name alone is enough. 419 Timely Rain Sword 8. What happened to you in Hiyori? Hiriko Okiko only felt that the bad feeling in his heart became more and more obvious, especially after Hiyori was injured by the strangely changed Ryucha Kensai. Mako, hurry up, let me go. To find Lu Chengkong. Tsuruuki Hiyori seemed to consume a lot of his own strength with every word. Throw him away. Just as Tsuruuki Hiyori suddenly burst into flames and was about to slash at Hiriko Mako, who was unsuspecting, it should be said that he had never been prepared against Hiyori. A voice suddenly sounded, and at the same time the slender, serrated Zanpakudo smashed through the air and knocked the Zanpakudo in Hiyori's hand into the air. What's going on? Hiriko Mako asked Kenpachi Zakagi, who had just arrived. Although he was not afraid of being slashed by Hiyori Saraki, his intuition told him that if he was slashed, he would regret and suffer for the rest of his life. The feeling of a lifetime. Otherwise, Hiriko Mako's sloppy, unconcerned personality would never show such a tone. I can't tell the truth. That guy in the sky told me that he would secretly follow you guys, saying that there would be a very exciting battle, but I didn't expect that I was lost, so I came a little late, which is really surprising. There are at least 3 captains here, and it seems really exciting to be able to do this. Quote. Zaraki Kenpachi said casually. He didn't see other people's eyes looking at him so strange at all. Seirenge, who has lived for more than 100 years, is still lost, and he has been lost for so long, which is really superb. It's a pity that they don't know that there is a better existence. Lu Chengkong, did that guy guess something? Otherwise, why would he let you do this? Indeed, but I think he was very urgent at that time. Something unexpected happened to him. Fortunately, I came here. Otherwise, the lives of Junzi and the rest of you will be ruined. Zanaki Kenpachi sighed, which really surprised everyone. Is this the one who only knows how to fight? When did he become so sentimental? Obviously because of Lu Chengkong. Janba also had many more friends, otherwise he would not be like this. What do you mean? Hiriko Zizi felt that he was getting closer and closer, but he felt that there was an invisible barrier preventing him from seeing the truth. This was the power of Kyoka Suzue, but now Hiriko Mako is slowly starting to perceive the mirror. The existence of, when Hiriko Mako perceives it, it is very likely to crack the mirror. After all, Hiriko Mako is the first person in the original book to be able to break Aizen's Kyoka Suzuki after being hypnotized. Although Mako was just hypnotized at that time, it was not very deep, but it can be seen that it is powerful. You must not be cut. There is a virtual barrier here. As long as there is bleeding from the wound, the virtual will enter your body. Even if you defeat the virtual in your body, you will gain the power of the virtual. It's useless, because at that time your life has been ruined, and there is not much potential for growth. This is the most vicious thing about the people behind the scenes. The existence of Mako in your group has seriously threatened them, especially you Mako. You were among the best in the genius class back then. If you let you grow up, you will definitely be a big enemy, so the people behind the scenes will treat you and you. In addition to seeing how the captain's virtual appearance will be, the more important purpose of conducting the virtual test is to ruin your future. Zuragi's sword's Bai punch was about to blow out Hiyori, but he didn't show any mercy. After all, kaiching is still very dangerous here, although he enjoys the feeling of being cut by someone, but slashes are avoided if they are emptied. Who is it? Is it Aizen? Hirako Mako was stunned for a moment, only to feel that his thoughts were unprecedentedly clear, especially when he spit out the word Aizen. He clearly felt that his spirit seemed to be affected by some ability blinded by the cover. Yes, Hirako Mako discovered the hypnotic energy of Jinghua Suzui at this moment. Clap clap clap. A burst of applause suddenly sounded, and 3 people slowly walked out of the dark place. These 3 were really Kazuki Urahara wearing glasses, and Jin Ichimaru, who was also a young boy, and of course, it was Toxian Yao in the end. I really didn't expect it, and I don't even think the entire Soul realm thought that Captain Zaraki, who only knew the battle, would be so wise. It seems that I'm not the only one hiding. Lan Ran clapped her palm lightly, and looked at Mako and the others who were not injured, and her fear flashed, especially Mako. That trace of fear was obviously aimed at Hirako Mako, and clearly what Zanaki Kenpachi said was right. Lan Ran is indeed very jealous of Hirako Mako. Che, I don't have such a bad heart like you, and I don't bother to think about it, but that kid in the sky told me, I'm sorry to disappoint you. I think after this time, Mako won't fall for you, and his potential as a god of death has not been destroyed by you. He will be your great enemy. You still have to worry about how to face him, but here let's fight before. Originally, the words in front of Zenki Kenpachi made people look at him with great brilliance, but when it came to the last sentence, even Aizen couldn't help but have black lines all over his head. He just praised him just now, and it really was Zhongshan Yaikai, difficulty moving. Oh, I admit that what you said is right, but you dare to fight us here. Just slash on you and you're done. Aizen quickly regained her composure, with a bit of sarcasm in her tone. Damn, Hirako Mako was angry, but was stopped by Zuragi Kenpachi. Of course he was angry, although a large part of the masked army was not harmed or blurred as in the original book, but Hiyori, Liuch Quanchi and Fengchao Luzhiro were injured. If Kenpachi and Aizen were right, wouldn't their lives be ruined? He's right, if they dare to come out, they won't be afraid of being cut. They're well prepared, and you probably don't know what Tosin wants Benkai's ability, but he can erase all 5 senses except touch. Of course I wouldn't be afraid in normal times, but it's all over here with a slash. I don't want to save the next god of death who is going to become a waste. After that, I want you to fight with me. Aizen has made several preparations. Zuraki Kenpachi seems to have become the current leader of Mako's side. The calmness and wisdom he shows are not to mention Mako and the others, even Aizen has to look at him with admiration. 428,000 out of hand. You're right, Captain Zaraki, you look like you know me well. Is it all Lu Chengkong told you? Even Aizen couldn't help but arouse a little curiosity, and Kenpachi's words not only revealed his understanding of his plan, but also revealed his understanding of himself. He really couldn't believe that someone would understand him so well. You know he is the best at disguising himself. Half and a half. If I'm really as stupid as you think, how do you think I grew up in the 80 district? Zakagi Kenpachi said this with a touch of irony. I admit that I underestimated you before, Xingmo. In order to show respect for you, let you feel the taste of blurring. If you want, let's take action. Aizen said that he was standing in the appearance of a big boss. Cool there. Wan. Ah. Dongxian was about to pull out his zanpakudo, like an absolutely loyal subordinate. Just as he was preparing for Bankai, he felt a pain in his back, and a huge force came directly to his entire body. People blasted out. Who? A hint of surprise flashed across Miao Ran's face, that someone could hide near him so that he wouldn't find out, and Aizen became serious in an instant. To master, there are too many things that he has not mastered, and it is beyond his expectations that it is just one Zaraki Kenpachi. Matsumoto Ranju. 2 figures floated out ghostly like black elves, one big and one small on the big shoulders. These two were Matsumoto Ranju and Pinglu Yakianu. Captain Aizen, it seems to be a little troublesome this time. There seem to be many unexpected things. Ichimaru Jin didn't know whether it was intentional or unintentional to stimulate Aizen, and everything that happened one after another was enough to make him think Aizen, who held everything in her palm, was hit. I didn't expect that the uncertain factors were almost all in place. Lan Ran's face was expressionless, but the smile on the corner of his mouth rose, and there was a trace of anger in his eyes. Obviously, he was really hit a bit. Gui, the blonde beauty is here too. She's so strong. Xiao Kongkong is really a blessing. The women around me are not only beautiful and good-looking, but also so powerful. Hiriko Mako seems to have calmed down completely. Dare to joke. Stupid, if you don't come today, I may have a headache, but this is also a windfall, it will solve all of you at one time. Aizen is worthy of being Aizen, and soon there will be a new decision. The angry look disappears, replaced by joy. Yes, there is such a powerful death god here. If it is a normal battle, don't say all of them together, just even if he was not affected by the blur. Hiriko Mako, who was blurred, was enough for him to drink a pot, but now he obviously doesn't need to defeat them, as long as the cat needs to use the ability of Dongxian to slash them. Is it your little glasses who have been doing things behind your back? And you, Xiao Yinyan, you actually followed him. Since Xiao Kong is not here, I have to help him sort out the door. She has been very quiet and closed her eyes like a sleeping baby with her pupils opened. Otherwise, her pupils would also turn pink. As the person Lu Chengkong trusts and loves most in this world, she certainly knows Ichimaru. The purpose of silver to Aizen's side. She said this just to convince Aizen that Ichimaru Jin had really broken with Lu Chengkong, and only when she did it, it would become a break even if it wasn't a break, and then Aizen would also believe in Ichimaru Jin. The personality that he doesn't believe has nothing to do with Lu Chengkong, and he dares to use him with confidence under certain circumstances. Cough, Master Aizen. You're annoying. When Dongxian was about to stand up and was about to say something, Bachenliu suddenly snorted coldly. Bachenliu in this state made everyone look at her in disbelief. Is the elf cute, simple and lively Yakiryu? No matter how you look at it, it looks like an absolutely cold-hearted predator. This extremely cold voice makes people feel cold all over. Boom. What surprised everyone was still behind. I saw that a pink spiritual pressure was suddenly placed on Bachenliu's body, and this spiritual pressure actually formed a terrifying shape. The Reiatsu was actually fired like a cannonball. The speed was so fast that everyone just felt a flash in front of them, and Dongxian wanted to scream in agony. Saw was personally flying out, and the blood was wild at the same time, but fortunately Aizen was worried that the situation would change, so he installed it for the three of himself early in the morning. They bought some special props so that the three of them would not be blurred even if they were injured here. Oh my god, is this still 8,000 Ryu? Dongxian's strength is almost the same as that of an ordinary captain. Although he doesn't have Bankai, he was actually injured by Reiatsu. How powerful is this Reiatsu? It can be said that Bachenliu has made a move for the first time in so many years. It seems that Bachenliu has only grown a little bit taller in the past 100 years, which is not too different from when he entered the spiritual court. If you don't look carefully, you can't tell the difference, but it's unbelievable that such a cute child has such a strong strength. Although many people, such as Aizen, have also guessed that 8,000 Ryu is definitely not easy, but I didn't expect it. Will be so powerful. It's just that they would have thought that in the past 100 years, Bachanliu was the one that Ujawali taught her personally. She was originally powerful and unknown, and now it's even more unfathomable. There are so many talented people around him. Where did Lu Chengkong find so many powerful gods of death? Aizen couldn't help but feel a little jealous of Lu Chengkong, when he wanted to take away the spiritual power of Matsumoto Ranju. After being rescued by Lu Chengkong, she knew at that time that if Lu Anju became a god of death, she would be very powerful if her spiritual power was not taken away. It seems right now, Matsumoto Ranju standing in front of him has a sense of crisis even if it is Aizen, and now Bachanliu's pink eyes make him feel like sitting on the Blade's Edge mountain, which is extremely dangerous. Clang! Yachianryu took out the Zanpakudo, which was longer than her current height and looked like a toy. A pair of pink eyes swept across Aizen, Toxian Yao, Ichimaru Jin, and the others. When there was a flash of cold light. Bankai, the final style of clearing insects, Yan Mo Cricket. Dongxian was first attacked by the random chrysanthemum and flew out, and then he was beaten by the seemingly harmless Bachanliu in front of him and vomited blood. He didn't dare to look down on anyone around Lu Chengkong. A black space directly spread out and surrounded Bachanliu.